Hey,
Live.
all right, people. Wait for everyone to get here. Chaos, sorry. All right. Get people in here now. Let me make a little Instagram story so we can update everyone. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live. We're a little late. We had some issues, but we're here now. Okay. All right, Mike, I'll call you back if we have any issues. Oh, perfect. What's up, guys? Let me make an Instagram story real quick because I got to tell everybody that we have a new link for the live and we'll get rolling. Hey, everyone, we had a little bit of trouble with our live getting set up, but we're live now. So if you're watching this right now, click on that link and join us live on YouTube, doing a 30-minute presentation on pricing and then Q&A. See you there. Bye. Okay. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Do the sound effects, Steven. Da, 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 da. No? Wait, switch to you. Oh, sound effect. Wait, guys, let us know if you hear the sound effect. Oh. Live stream. Instagram. Did it work? Comment if you heard the sound effects. I need to get closer to the microphone. Did it work? What noise did you do? I can't hear anything. Yay! Do the fart noise. Come on. Oh, okay. Do the fart noise. What's up, everybody? All right, we're just going to chill in here for a little bit. If you're here, can you just like the video? Hit the like button so it'll get pushed out to more subscribers, more people who want to be on the live stream watching it. Click like, comment in the chat. Everyone's ready. What's up? Sounded like a deck of cards falling down some stairs.
He's not wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
With the fart noise?
Pretty lo-fi.
Okay, what other noises do we have?
Well, let me just let this ad play first. By the way, hi, I'm the one talking to you over here. I'm Steven, for those of you who don't know me. And over here, Josh, say hello.
Hello, everybody.
All right, excellent. So as far as sound effects are concerned, Eric, what do you want?
I don't know what there is. Is there a dog noise?
Did you ask for dog noise?
I don't know. Is there one?
Dog noise?
What other good ones?
Confused dog?
Confused dog? There is?
It's a puppy face.
What does it sound like?
Bad. Sounds bad. There's a cow.
Okay.
These are terrible noises. They all sound the exact same. That sounded like Velcro. Oh my gosh, these are
just
bad.
They're just too lo-fi, or what?
Yeah, they're like 8-bit sounds.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
That one didn't work.
Just waiting for folks to get in here before we get going. How we doing? Say hi in the chat. Make sure to like the video if you could for me. That just pushes it out to more people who might have gone to the wrong link, because there's an email sent out with that link and then everything went crazy. YouTube glitched on us. It didn't let us do this setup. It went to Steven's webcam and then we ended the live and then I was like, oh no, that link is gone forever now. So we had to make like 2 more and we're finally here now. Thanks for your patience. Amazing. Okay. All right. We are going to start Q&A after. I just want to dive into teaching a bit on pricing your work. This is essentially a modified version from my workshop, my course, The Classroom. So thank you for being here. As a reward, I want to just give you all this information. This is not, trust me, like people who sell courses do, like one of the strategic things is to like do a webinar and try to sell the course. I will mention The Classroom. We are in launch week right now, but I'm not here trying to like give you a bunch of information and then be like, but you got to buy it next. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. It's not in my nature to be super salesy. So I'm not going to do that to you guys. So don't worry about that. I'm never going to pressure anyone to try to buy the classroom, but I obviously will mention it because we are in launch week and it's, it's over on Monday. So what I do want to do is jump over to my slide deck so I can just start sharing this info with you guys. If you have notes, highly recommend just busting out your notes app or pen and paper if you have it. With any ideas that you might have during this so that you can take it into the next time you have free time or whatever. Okay, Steven, let's jump over to slide deck. Maybe you could put my screen and then me down in the bottom corner.
Yes, sir.
And then did you send the link over to Kristen to send out a new email? How do we look?
Yes.
Does that work? Ooh, they see the slide deck now? Sick.
Hang on. Is it showing up? Oh, it is. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Am I down in the corner?
You're about to be.
Oh. Hey.
There he is.
Yay.
What a handsome guy.
Hey, get me out of this corner. What if I go like this? I'm like, you title. Why I oughta. Okay, that's enough of that.
Really good.
All right, guys.
Can you ask them really quickly
what?
if it looks like the text looks the right way? We don't have to mirror it or anything.
Okay, yeah. Let us know in the chat. Does everything look okay? Is everything's backwards or do they look normal? You're seeing the feed, right?
I am,
and it looks good?
looks fine. It just is flipped on mine.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah, if you're seeing it, then we're good. I think.
Yep.
Hit us up in the chat. You see chat?
Looks
Everyone's
good.
saying good.
Everyone's saying it looks fine. Let's go.
Great,
Let's get
amazing.
into it.
Okay. All right. This little presentation is titled "I'm a Changed Man," and you'll see why I say that in the end. This is by Eric Floberg, all rights reserved. Okay. Hello. My name's Eric. If you don't know who I am, this is my YouTube channel. I assume most of you know who I am. If you're here, you're probably a subscriber or Patreon or just follow me online in some capacity. But if you don't, thank you for being here. Thank you for your interest in whatever I have to say. I will surely get distracted and passionate about something not on these slides. So please just bear with me. Like I said, if you have notes and you're in the note-taking mood right now and you feel like that would be beneficial to you as far as like what I'm about to teach entrepreneurially and what you can apply to your own business, highly recommend that. I will leave it live too. So if you want to revisit, I will leave the live on my channel. So if you want to revisit this in the coming days and weeks, you can totally do that as well. So tonight we're going to chat about 3 things, and this is all surrounding the topic of pricing and how to raise your prices over time. And basically a synopsis of my business. And as I mentioned before, this is kind of a snapshot of my module 10 in my course, The Classroom. And we're going to talk about where my business was, how I grew it, where my business is currently, and then where it's going. And just all of the ups and downs and what I did to change pricing over time, where I'm at with pricing now, and what I plan on doing in the future now that my business is way more diversified. And hopefully that helps you in some way. That's one goal tonight, just like that you can get some of this information applied to your own business on a technical level. But ultimately, I really hope that a lot of the things that I did inspire you to creative action in your business, not just creating creative images or imagery, but actually being creative within your own business as well. I think that's something that so many creatives miss is like they're so focused on making really cool things, but they don't apply that same kind of mindset into their business as well. And that's the world I love to live in. It's just like applying that creative side of your brain to your business and how impactful that can really be. So before we jump into one thing, I want to be honest about this. I hope my business gets wrecked if I stray away from what I set out to do as an entrepreneur with my philosophy. And ultimately what that is on a base level with my own clients. I say this time and time again on my channel and everywhere online is that my sole purpose is to serve them first, is to serve my clients first. If I don't do that, if I get out of that mindset and start having a selfish mindset that's only focused on me and my business, I truly hope that my business gets wrecked. I hope you recognize that that's my heart behind all this. And that extends into education, that extends into diversifying with doing all the new stuff that I'm doing now as well. So success is great. We're all after it. We're all trying to go for it. We're all trying to succeed. We're all trying to grow our businesses. But I just want to at least issue the caution, be careful once you get it. Be careful once you have some success. So let's talk about where my business was. I've started, the first wedding I ever shot was actually 2011. And then I decided, I'm going to go after this in 2012. these are my posts on Facebook. This is legitimately actually a post that I had about on my Facebook business page. Just there's no photo, no nothing attached. It's just new stuff. Take a look. At least one person liked it. So off to a great start, I'd say. Something in the beginning stages people struggle with a lot is comparison in an unhealthy way. Is going, while that person is so successful, that person is making so much money, booking so many jobs. I'm really feeling, I'm just feeling like I'm not even close to what they can do. I'm not even close to where they are. I'm feeling depressed about where I'm at. How am I ever going to get there? And that kind of comparison can rob you of what you are able to do. If you sit in that space and dwell on it, we all have those feelings on people who are more successful or people that you're comparing yourself to in an unhealthy way. We all feel that. But it's one thing to feel that and stay in that, or it's one thing, and then another thing to feel that and then turn it into something good. And so what I recommend is looking at that person that you are comparing yourself to, someone that is further along than you, charges more than you, is more successful than you, instead of immediately going to jealousy, going to how did they do that? And how do I approach doing that in the same way or in some of the same ways, in ways that I could do creatively to get to that place? For me, that person was Ben Chaish. And subsequently, it's so funny that he champions this phrase all the time: comparison is the thief of joy. But I kept looking at Benj and being like, my mindset was, I can get there. I know I can do that. And so I started modeling my business over, okay, what is he doing in this way? How is he getting that look on his photos? So I discovered, okay, Visco film are the presets he's using. Okay, how am I going to make that my own? Great. Okay, what does he do here? How am I going to do that? And then I started finding more and more photographers, more and more filmmakers, and I started applying all of those same concepts to my business, seeing, okay, I'm comparing, I don't do that well, they do that well, how do they do it? And then thinking critically, how do I get there? Doing the research I need to do, how do I get there? Going to workshops. I went to workshop in Brooklyn 3 years in a row to figure out what these the people that I was comparing myself to, what do they actually think? How do they actually get to this place? So first you compare that, and then you look at their pricing, you start talking to them, you DM people, you find people in your area that you look up to, you find people who are close to you, who are more successful than you, further along in their business. You look to them, you start asking, okay, what are you charging? Or looking on their website, what are their starting prices? Maybe if they list their prices, what are they? And then figuring out, okay, where do I fit in a healthy way, comparing yourself, where do I fit skill-wise in comparison to them? What should I be charging? Probably, obviously, should be charging less. Is that half of what they're charging? Is that a quarter of what they're charging? And then asking yourself the second question. So first, comparing yourself to the local market and figuring out what the price is in your area. Maybe that means going to Wedding Wire or The Knot and looking at those places to see what people are charging in comparison, comparing your work to theirs and seeing, or asking yourself how much would make you feel like it's worth it. How much money would it be for you to go do that 2-hour portrait session? What would you be happy with doing that? Would you be happy just doing it for $100? Would you be happy if it were 400? Does it need to be that much? Because maybe you're looking to invest in more gear. You want to get a new lens. And so you're going to be happy with charging 500. But going too far is not going to give you the ability to book stuff and put it in your portfolio so that you can get that lens, so that you can keep booking. So it's this back and forth of figuring out, okay, what are people charging in my area? What is comparable to me? And what will I be happy with? And obviously that's going to keep changing over time, what you're going to be happy with as you get busier and busier and demand keeps going. So these are some of the first portrait sessions I did in college. I just charged $250. $250. I felt super happy with it. I'm shooting on a crop sensor DSLR and like a nifty 50 prime lens, 1.8. Shooting at 1.8 all the time, not understanding that shooting wide open doesn't always necessarily mean that's the best thing to do. $250 for a portrait session. The first wedding I ever shot, I charged $300. I think the next one, the second one I shot, I charged $800. And I'm pretty sure Alyssa and Drew was the third one I shot. And I think I charged $1,200 there. And I rented some lenses, which I'm going to talk about in the next frame. This is one of the first films I shot in college where I didn't understand what highlights were. And you could see that all of the bright parts of the image are just completely blown out. That's a still from the film. So charging in that $1,200 to $1,500, I think I might have actually charged $800 or $1,000 for that wedding film over there. But I started filling my portfolio. I started negotiating prices, seeing what people were willing to pay, booking those things, and starting to book more and more at a price that they felt comfortable with, and a price that let me start investing back into my business. So started renting lenses, and I got a full frame camera. I got the 5D Mark II, and I would rent a 35 millimeter prime, a 45 millimeter tilt shift, because Ben's used a tilt shift, again, copycatting a bit, but starting to make it my own with images like this, and an 85 millimeter f1.2 prime. So renting 3 lenses that I wanted to buy eventually, but every wedding it was just like, okay, this is a cost of doing business. This is my overhead to get better, to start booking work that costs more money, or I can charge more money. And then I started getting images like this, or I saw this and I was just like, okay, this is different. I started using Visco film to get that film look and emulation with that tilt shift. It was like, okay, now I'm posting these photos on Facebook. I didn't even have Instagram yet, but I'm starting to book people, not even with a website yet, just posting them on Facebook. And in these early days, like, it's okay to negotiate. And let me let you in on a little secret. It's okay to negotiate always. So many people talk about how you have to charge what you're worth. And in that sentiment, I agree, you should charge what you're worth, but demand is going to dictate that. For me, I only shoot a certain amount of weddings a year at this point. So I don't need to negotiate with every inquiry that comes in, because if I did negotiate every single one, I'd be shooting too many weddings and I'd be too overwhelmed with all the other work that I do with my business. But it's okay to negotiate those prices. I negotiated my Yosemite film, Tyler and Ellie, in 2017. It completely changed my career. I knew that I had to land this wedding. I literally used words with them like, we are going to make this happen. We just need to figure out how we're going to meet in the middle. We have to figure out my price versus what your budget is, and we're going to find a place where we can meet in the middle. And maybe that's more towards your side and not towards mine, but I must be a part of this. We line up philosophically. You guys are amazing. The opportunity to shoot in a destination like this, to get a portfolio piece. At that point, I was only shooting on a 5D Mark III, so I rented the 5D Mark IV with autofocus, and I had a Ronin M gimbal with the 2 handles on the side, and I shot over 3 or 4 days, time lapses. I was shooting mostly 1080p for that wedding, and I think I shot 800 gigs of footage, which is just an absurd amount of footage. I didn't even know how to do a time lapse, actually. I just recorded for 2 hours, like with 4 separate clips, 30 minutes each clip, and then sped it up in post. But I just went after it, and I learned so much from that wedding, and it just exploded my career, because this portfolio piece got me like a dozen more weddings later on. I started making photos that were interesting. I got attention on Facebook groups. I would post these creative portraits with a tilt shift and doing double exposures, and people really, really resonated with it. And I started growing an Instagram following. And as all these things are happening, the business just starts to snowball, because whether it's photographers who are excited about my work or interested in sharing it, that's just organic marketing on any of these platforms. If you get anybody to share your work, it's just extending that reach even more. So in any way, trying to extend that reach and get to more eyes is an incredible way to organically market yourself. So I raised prices year after year, year on end. How much, you might ask? Every year, when I had 12 to 15 weddings booked or in the books for the next coming season, I would raise anywhere from $300 to $750, or even in some senses towards the end, over $1,000 per package based on that demand. 12 to 15 for the next year. I was like, okay, that's half of my weddings. That's half of my bookings for next year already in the books. Let's try to raise the prices and see if people bite. And people just kept saying yes to the higher prices. So I kept raising them every year as that demand continued to come in, and I kept booking people at the higher prices. Now, if you don't see that happen, if people aren't booking you at those higher prices, there's no shame in staying at the price that you're at or even dropping it. Circumstances happen. Different seasons happen. We might be entering a recession here. People say we are. Like, COVID happened. There are all sorts of variables that happen with business. You can't be in the mindset of like, my current clients who have or booked at this price, or my past clients are going to be so mad at me if they find out that I'm charging less or whatever, or the same, or I'm not raising my prices like I said I would. I told them that they need to book at this price because I'm going to raise them in the future, but I didn't. don't play that psychological game with yourself, because if you get into that mindset, you're not going to do the healthy thing for your business. And they don't get to dictate what the decisions you make with your business, because variables happen. Any business, you're going to the Gap, you go to McDonald's, like you get your iced coffee, they're fluctuating prices all the time. And what do you think their response is to people being like, hey, why are you running a sale now? Like, I bought that the other day. They're gonna be like, so there's a sale now. Like, I'm sorry, that's how the world works. So really just educating your clients and having good relationships with them. First of all, that just doesn't really ever happen. Like, people aren't hunting you down and finding your prices after they've booked you and how you're changing them. But you need to make a decision for yourself on what's going to keep you getting healthy amounts of bookings moving forward, whether that's keeping your price the same way, lowering it to book more work, or negotiating more to get more work, or raising them because your demand is so much. Just being cognizant and thinking about those things regularly instead of just kind of floating and not making any changes at all. So year after year, these are some of the numbers year after year where I was changing my highest package for photography, 1,200 to 1,800, jumping much higher strides towards the later years as demand continued to increase. And in 2017, I met Levi, my friend Levi Tiarina, and I met him at Workshop. It was literally called Workshop in Brooklyn. And we sat down and I did a one-to-one mentor session with him. And I talked to him about how overwhelmed I was with how many wedding films I was shooting and how I couldn't keep up with the demand of editing them. And he was just like, well, what are you charging right now? And it was back when I was charging, well, these are my photo prices, but it was back when I was charging $4,000. So if I look on this next slide, you see in 2017, if you look under the film investments in the middle section, I was charging $4,000 for my montage edit with raw footage. And he's like, okay, well, bump it up to $8,000. And I was like, double? Like, at that point, I didn't even think it was possible that anyone would actually invest in $8,000 for a wedding film. And so I laughed at it. I didn't take his advice exactly. I didn't double prices, but I went back home and immediately changed that top package to $5,750. So it was the biggest price increase I'd ever taken on my packages. On the photo side, I went $1,250, but the video side, I went $1,750, almost 50%. And the first inquiry I got, they didn't bat an eye at that price. And it just blew me away that was possible. But the hard work I'd been putting in on shooting weddings like Tyler and Ellie's, where I was renting stuff and I was doing things differently and I was putting my heart and soul into my work, it was showing up because people were seeing that effort in the portfolio and it was justifying that price. And I felt confident to do so because the demand was so much at that point that it was overwhelming for me. Because what Levi said, he's just like, what do you have to lose for doubling your price? And I was like, well, I won't book people. He's like, that solves your problem then. And I was like, he's like, if you're overwhelmed, you don't need to be booking anything right now. But if you do book at double the price, you're now making twice as much money for the same amount of work. And it just blew me away that concept it just changed the trajectory of my career going, that's the natural deterrent for me to not feel overwhelmed and for me to organically raise my prices. So then it just started, then just everything kept blowing up at that point. So we'll fast forward now to kind of where my business is now, starting in 2018 to this year. I started YouTube. These are my friends, Daniel and Rachel. If you know them, they have a YouTube channel called Mango Street, and they're the ones that really encouraged me to start a YouTube channel. And that was in the time where I was posting all those photos to Facebook groups and they were kind of blowing up, and my Instagram was growing pretty rapidly. And I felt like I could share more things with the world of wedding photographers and wedding filmmakers. And because of YouTube, these are all the things that I do now. And the ability of me raising those prices and lowering the demand and not making myself overwhelmed so much with weddings, I was still able to get to six figures and maintain six figures with only shooting 15 to 20 weddings a year instead of 30 or 35. I started with education. I started doing YouTube. I started a Patreon. I started doing my course. I'm still doing weddings, just not as many. sponsored YouTube videos, as I mentioned, Patreon, and then Steven's in the room as well, doing commercial work with him and other people, podcasting with Steven, doing rally caps, and now jumping in a bit to documentary filmmaking. And I came to realize that at my price point now, in the $6,000 to $10,000 price range for shooting weddings, that really starts to get into the luxury market or high-end markets. And the stereotypical luxury wedding market just isn't my thing. To speak perfectly candidly, I'm talking in kind of the most stereotypical way, like needing to network with high-end planners and constantly rubbing shoulders with vendors in my opinion, not the most organic way, like having to pay a lot of money to go to this retreat so that you can meet this planner. And that's the only way you can do it. So your marketing is having to buy 3 outfits to go to that thing and then market with that person in hopes that I'm just not interested in playing that game. I would like to make my money in a more diversified kind of way. And so what I realize is that the chill elopement and small wedding scene is my thing. That's something that I've really come to realize this year. I've always loved that, but I think for me, that's one of the most sustainable ways for me to move forward. So, and since it is, I can continue to diversify my business with other creative things like I mentioned. So where my business is going, 2022 to 2090, hopefully doing 8 to 12 small weddings a year, from anywhere from 3,000 to 8,000, and niching into a specific style, but also being willing to negotiate to be able to do those kinds of weddings. YouTube at a pace that's sustainable for me, more education, maybe more on photo and video, YouTubing or podcasting, doing small group coaching like masterminds, and then the commercial work and all that stuff. And you might be going, but Eric, you said success is great. We're all after it, but just be careful once you get it. Like, you don't want to overwhelm yourself with too many things. And this is always a question that people ask me, like, how do you do all the stuff that you do? Don't you have a wife and 4 kids? Now, the reality here is, like, this week in the last month with presets and LUTs and the course dropping, it's been crazy. It's been way too much work, to be honest. Because they all just happened to fall on top of each other. That wasn't the plan, but that's how it ended up happening. Before that, like through the winter and into the spring, some of the most relaxed months I've had in years. And I'm going to be going back to that this fall, just really loosening the reins and relaxing a lot more and doing more creative things. But I have these safeguards in place now with my assistant Nami helping with photo editing when I book those small weddings. YouTube at a pace that's sustainable for me, potentially hiring an editor and paying them a salary to be able to sustain that for myself. More education with Creative Club folks, maybe with Steven. That coaching, splitting it with somebody else, not doing it by myself. There's a common theme here that anything else I'm pursuing now is with other people. And to bring it full circle, that whole idea of community and being with other people is what I recommend in the first place with raising your prices. Is that you need to be connecting with people that you know and trust who are charging a certain amount of money. And then you can figure out what they're charging, how they're doing it, but that trust needs to be developed first before they really open up to you in that way. And so to me, it's so important that you're doing that. You're building relationships in your community, in your field, other wedding photographers, other wedding filmmakers, so that you can have that healthy comparison and realize like what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, what you could be improving on, and rubbing shoulders with those people who are kind of in the trenches with you, working with you to all succeed more. So there is more filmmaking I'm doing now with short form, short films on the YouTube channel early this year. I want to move back to that more in the fall, doing cool trips with Steven, like Maui. Yeah, you can crack your beer. That's fine. Doing more trips like we did with Maui. We potentially have an opportunity to do that with a new brand we've kind of been talking to. Documentary filmmaking with Joe. This is more of the film photography from Maui, and maybe even niching into, like, we're shooting Danny Gevirtz's wedding in September. We're shooting a lot of film with that. It's gonna be super fun. We have a potential other big YouTuber we might be shooting a wedding for next year. We'll see. That one's undisclosed, but really kind of niching into that market and like figuring that out. But the doc, like more things are rolling now. We're getting into the fall. We'll be shooting a lot more sessions with Joe, and then his race is in December. And that's a whole new brave frontier for me and a new thing for pricing. So I'm always learning and figuring out what that is, trying to partner with people who are sponsoring this for us. It's still not sponsored yet, but we're on the cusp of that potentially happening very soon. And like business is so much fun. You could be doing tons of things, diversifying, growing, raising your prices, being in the trenches with community. But the truth is I'm a changed man, and recognizing the past 2-3 years were just some of the craziest years of my life, with overwhelming myself with work. And now you might be sitting here tonight, you might be like, I'm just really struggling to get work. I can't get any. So listening to you is frustrating because you don't understand like how hard it is where I live or the market that I'm in. Or you might be like, no, I really understand where you're coming from. I'm so overwhelmed this wedding season. I'm shooting too many. Like I need to figure out how to change that. You might be in both of those things, and one of those places or somewhere in the middle. The reality in both of those is that you have to live with intentionality. You have to recognize if you're struggling, how are you going to change that? What do you need to do? Take some self-reflective moments. Maybe it means maybe this career is not for you. That's okay. That can be an okay solution to figure that out. But how are you going to figure that out? Who are you talking to? And how are you taking the steps to realize if that is the right choice for you or not, if you need to keep pursuing it? On the other side of the token, if you are working too much, you're feeling overworked, what kind of things do you need to invest in? Do you need to invest in therapy? Do you need to invest in more education for yourself to figure out how to rein in the out of control business that you have? It's intentionality on both sides. So that's what I feel like I have come to grips with in the past few years is if I'm not careful with the way I am naturally, my business can just kind of go off the rails and I can keep raising prices and doing cooler and better things. But if I don't put safeguards and guardrails on my life and business, then those things will get out of control. So the intentionality for me is figuring out, yeah, I need to charge more money so that that's the natural safeguard for me to not overbook myself. So that's the end of that. I hope that was helpful for you. I don't know if there's any comments that I should look. Okay, we can get off the screen now. We're just gonna open to Q&A now, and we're just gonna chill and hang and maybe do a bunch of other fart noises or sound effects. You're not ready. Is it just on my face now? I can go back.
Just on your face now.
Epic. Oh, wow. There's a lot more people in here now. Hey, everybody. Okay. Great. Amazing. Okay. I just want to open it up to like full blown Q&A now. It's hot in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it got real hot. Do you want to turn the air on? Let's do it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's okay. There can be a little bit of hum in the air.
Definitely.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Someone never heard of Danny G? Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're photographing Danny Gevirtz's wedding. I don't think we have a contract in place. It's just a verbal agreement, but that's kind of how Danny rolls.
Yeah, Danny loves us. We're good.
He's shooting his movie right now, which is absolutely crazy. Okay.
I
Cheers.
Not walking.
Cheers. Okay, sorry. All right. Well, Steven's a vibe tonight. He's got his Hawaiian shirt. I do want to open up to Q&A now, and the only way we can do that is just doing it through the chat. Before I do that, like I said in the beginning, if you weren't here, a lot of people who sell courses and do course launches like I'm doing right now do a webinar where they do a valuable teaching like that, and then they move into like, hey, well, you need my course now to solve all your problems. I know I'm being kind of harsh. I'm just not that way. It feels way too salesy for me, but I have to at least share that, yes, this live stream is to help promote the classroom. This whole week is to help promote the classroom. It is linked in the description. I don't want anyone to feel like it's something that they have to do. There's been a lot of people DMing me on Instagram and the texting app that I have. You can go to my Instagram and find the texting app and text me if you want. I've been texting with people. The common question this week has just been like, do you think I'm ready to invest in this course? And I've been saying no to people because one of two things. If I feel like you are too advanced, if you're too far along, you're shooting full time, you're way overwhelmed. Yes, you might find some things that are helpful in the course. If you can, obviously at that point, you could probably afford buying it if you want to just get a different idea of who I am, how I work, and all the inner workings of that. That's someone I would say no to. And then someone else I would say no to is like haven't shot a wedding at all, don't own any gear, just want to get into it. That's a little bit too early. So the classroom was really made for people who have shot like 1 to a handful or a dozen weddings, or you've gone through a couple seasons of almost full time and you're looking to get better technical information, better business information, better marketing information, creative inspiration, and then ultimately building a philosophy for your business that's going to help you maintain this over a long time and not just burn out like so many people do in the wedding industry with only shooting for like 3 years and then calling it quits. So that's the classroom. If you feel like you're in that place, please shoot me a DM or send me a text via the text number in the bio of my Instagram, and we can chat about if it's right for you. Otherwise, it's linked in the description. You can get the free module. There's an entire free module, 2 hours long. It's module 7, client experience, where I go through a full conversation with Steven and his wife about them potentially booking me. And then I go through my entire contract. And then I go through how we use my CRM Honeybook to invoice and do contracts and all the technical parts of paperwork with clients. So that's completely free, 2 hours long. So you can check that out and see what that's like. And then to start off, the payment plan for one of the courses is $333 for the first month. And then the bundle is $499 for the first month. And that's interest free over 6 months. So I'm done talking about that. I'll bring it up again if you guys have any questions about it, but I just want everyone to know that that is an option. We are in launch week, and enrollment for the classroom will be gone by midnight at the end of Monday. So if it'll be available all day Monday on the 25th, but it'll be gone by the 26th, which is my birthday, 31. Okay, Q&A. I'm sure there's a bunch of questions in here now, so I just want to, okay. Also let us know if you have a beer on your end or if you have a cocktail on your end. Oh, Steven.
Or Taco Bell.
Ooh.
Anyone?
We already did Taco Bell.
Already did. Not proud of it.
It was our only option. No, it wasn't our only option. We wanted to be bad boys tonight. Taco Bell. Okay.
Taco Bell.
So how many people are currently working on my team? Okay, so there's kind of this facade that so many people like work for me. At this point, nobody works for me officially, okay? There are people in Creative Club that help me with these launches, and they have equity profit in profits of the course launch. So they just help me for like the weeks leading up and this week. So that's what that is. Steven doesn't work for me. He's only like a subcontractor for a week like this, or I guess I contract you out quite a bit.
Yeah, we work together a lot.
Yeah. Well, let them see your face when you talk. You're too busy eating your Taco Bell.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to show the shame that is eating Taco Bell on a live stream. So I was trying to hide myself in my little corner over here. But yeah, no, we work together quite a bit. Some of it is associate wedding work. Mm-hmm. Some of it is classroom related work. Yep. And the rest of it is, yeah, that's true too.
Lots of design
stuff.
You helped me a lot with preset launch.
Yes, that's true too. Yep.
You designed my 606 logo.
That's true.
You basically design everything I have that needs to be designed.
I could see that.
Are you turning into Dwight?
I could see that.
Yeah.
Seems realistic.
Yeah, but then we have Josh over here too. You say hi, Josh.
Hello. How's it going?
Josh is helping out this week with a lot of shooting and editing. Maybe you can explain what's been going on this week.
Yeah. So this is my first time like doing a lot of editorial in regards to YouTube world, and when it comes, I'm hearing myself, and that's really weird. I'm like live on my phone, so it's weird. But yeah, like being able to get into editing or something like this. I've never done something like this, so it's been really like interesting, humbling, and being able to work with other creatives like this on this level has honestly been a game changer for me in like how I view things, like on personal fronts. But yeah, like it's been a lot of work. I go home very tired, but like it's like a satisfied tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I've had a lot of fun, learned a lot, and you know, being behind the scenes, seeing how a lot of the work that goes into it, and getting little early snippets of the classroom, I find it very, very beneficial. Especially, I've been doing wedding films since 2018, and I still call myself a newbie when it comes to it. Yeah, like really great.
Sweet. Yeah, so Josh has just been helping with shooting and editing this whole week for launch week, and we're kind of in maybe a trial period of seeing if he wants to edit for me full time. If he doesn't want to just like run away, we'll see.
You've had me for 5 days.
He's already been thrown in the trenches and doing the live stream with us. But yeah, I wanted to just get into more of these questions and just be a help. Like I want all this week to be is just helping you guys out. So I'm going to start going through some of the questions. All right, here we go. So Matthew said, how do you go about selling yourself to couples for photo over video or vice versa, since you can do both? So I never try to force anyone's hand into a decision of photo or video. I always just try to see what their needs are first. And when I can figure out like what works with them or what they like in my work, if they came to me because they love my photography, I'm not going to try to sell them on video, but I will bring it up. I'll say like, hey, I do videos while I have a team. I have associates. We can build a team and we work really well together if that's something you want to add. But I know you came to me for photo, so that's really what I want to focus on here. But it's really just going off of what they came to me with and not trying to sell anything on the opposite side, if that makes sense. 2 weddings under the belt. Awesome. Really fun place to be in because you're just like, what do I charge for the next one? And at that point, I would recommend you just try to get as many as you can under your belt at that point. And if you guys want to jump in at any point, Steven, or like Josh, if you want to just put a finger up and then he can switch over to you. All right.
Or because I'm in control of the live stream,
yeah, I'll
just change.
I'm watching the delay and it's like still on your face. And I'm like, when is it going to go back to me? Okay. Curious if I'm able to share anything about how I'm pricing the doc. Great question. No idea how one would go about pricing a project like that. So we have no idea what we're doing either. We just jumped on a call with that same friend, Levi. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this.
Tread lightly. Yeah.
Tread lightly.
Yeah.
No, Levi is half of the company Gamut, who I released my LUTs with. He's partnered with Kalyn from White and Reverie. So they teamed up with me to build the LUTs. And Levi does a ton of work with a big, big business and brand. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Steven? No?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon me. No.
Oh, that's actually hilarious. That works really well.
That's the brand.
Levi does it's hard to describe his job.
He's a genius.
He really, honestly, like that's probably the best way to describe Levi. He's straight up a genius.
Yeah.
He does a lot of really great work, seeking out businesses and pieces of art with potential to them and helping just provide funding for those things to see it actually come to fruition. Because I think a lot of the times the trouble with more like indie art projects is that they're really good, but they don't have the finances to actually see it to the end.
Yeah.
So Levi does a really good job seeking out and finding value in like diamonds in the rough and looking for things that really have potential and deserve the funding to do things like that. And we are very lucky to know him and that the doc is on his radar and that he is really interested in helping us one way or another, just kind of see it to fruition to make the best final product that we can.
Right. So he's really trying to help us figure out and navigate what is possible because we went to a brand and they were like, yeah, sorry, we just don't really see a way to partner in this way. And maybe that's just because I did not pitch it well enough or like didn't really give an option for what.
Your pitch deck was very good.
Oh, yeah, it was fine.
It was very good.
But I think ultimately I didn't really communicate what distribution could have looked like. Or I didn't really even know that language.
Sure.
But that's what Levi's been helping us with a lot. And we just jumped on a call with him and Joe yesterday and tried to figure out some more plans of like, okay, how can we, if any of the avenues are going to invest in this way, how will we get investors their money back?
Yes.
And so then it's just a game of like, okay, well, how are we going to release the documentary with an email list or like capturing emails, and that's the way the brand or the investor gets value? Or are we going to do a subscription based where everybody has to pay like $4 to watch the film or $5 to watch the film?
Right.
Or does it need to be more expensive because our reach is only limited? Or are we going to go to try to get into Sundance, which is, after that call, we were like, that's not possible. We're not going to,
No.
We'd have to hire people and like do all sorts of crazy stuff. So yeah, we're navigating that right now and trying to figure out, okay, what do we all want out of this, even including Joe? And so, yeah, just figuring all that out right now. And I think that's kind of going to be solved in the next few weeks, probably. And then we can start hitting the ground running through the fall, so we can get all of our dates locked in and like get all the funding that we need as a team to go out to these places to shoot the stuff. So.
Because there are some really cool places and really cool events we'd love to be a part of.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
everything's been out of my pocket so far, and it's just been like, like, is funding going to happen or no? So yeah,
great.
So hopefully that was helpful. Julian's been calling me Mr. Six Figures.
Who is?
Julian, Mr. Six Figures. Knows what he's talking, especially when it comes to philosophy. He keeps,
so great.
He was saying in comments, he's like, Mr. Six Figures over here. That is kind of like my alter ego with like when we talk about education. Six Figures.
Wait, is that Julian?
Julian Mares?
Not from the wedding.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not a former client.
Okay.
Julian, I don't think we've met. Tell me if we have met or not. He said, so happy you're teaching how important client experience is. Philosophy is everything in ethics. Yep, I agree. Yeah, it's so important to develop your philosophy in your business and figure out like why it is you do what you do. That's the most common refrain in a lot of photography workshops is the whole concept of figuring out your why. And I fully agree with that. That foundation is so important in building your business. And if you haven't ventured into that, you should start thinking about that and becoming more intentional about that. It's one of the biggest reasons why we made the classroom, is to help people, because that's what I learned from 2016 through 2018 when I went to workshop 3 years in a row. I like really developed that philosophy, and that's when everything started to explode for me. What gig, event, or other thing am I most excited for in the upcoming year? It's got to be the doc. It's got to be seeing a longer project to fruition. And honestly, just slowing way down this fall, like allowing myself to outsource so much more work and like take my white knuckle grasps off of the things that I hold so close to my chest, and just be like, no, like it's okay to let other people take control of some of these things. Josh.
Yes, I'll grasp them into my Asian
into my bosom. And because of that, like with being able to do that, then I'm going to be able to spend so much more time with family and maybe get down to a 30-hour work week, 35-hour work week instead of a full 40, and like commit more time to running. I'm running 2 marathons this fall, and just having more of a personal life and spending more time with my friends on a friend level instead of just a work level. That's going to be super important to me. So both of those things on a personal level, and then the documentary, I think, is just going to be, especially since Steve and I basically just verbally agreed to like go 50-50 on the doc yesterday.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's very exciting.
It's going to be awesome. Christopher, what's up? Will I ever get to a point in my business where I'll hire a team on a salary to do weddings under my business name? It's a great question. I've never felt the desire to do that. For me, if I were going to do that, I personally feel like I would have to create an entire different brand and business, something that had a different name. And because I personally don't feel comfortable associating my name with a fully functional entity that's not me. That doesn't have me really involved at all. I guess from a managerial standpoint, I guess you can argue that I'm sort of doing that with associates, but they're so close to me, these people that are my associates. If I had like a team of 6 people shooting weddings, I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that being like Eric Floberg Inc. Because I personally feel like that doesn't communicate what that is. I would expect that if my name is attached to it, then I'm probably going to be shooting or editing or something like creatively in that, when I wouldn't be. But yeah, I can understand why people would do that, because the brand recognition is there. And if people know who I am and the kind of work I do, they might be willing to to work with one of my associates because they understand the quality of the work that I do. So no way is right or wrong, but I don't think I would ever do it under my name. I think I would do it under a different name, but I don't think I would do that either. I'm not like super interested in building a team of people. That idea just stresses me out so much. To like manage more than 4 people just gives me nightmares. Like I'm already bad at it. Like whenever we do course launch, like this time was way better. Last time was not better. Last time, take it away, Steven.
Last time was not better.
No.
Is that a good sentence?
No.
No.
That's not English.
Last time was not better. This time is much better.
Mm-hmm. This time, Eder.
This time.
Yeah. The reason it wasn't great last time is we started way too late. Like we got everything done we needed to get done, and we were super proud of it. But we came really close to the wire, all the way to the point where we were uploading modules the week of launch. And yeah, it just felt like it felt too stressful. And most of that, if we had the right computers, it would have been a lot better. Like it wouldn't have been that. The issue was we were just editing on the old MacBook and my iMac from 2016, 15. So they were like about to burst into flames, and Premiere just kept crashing, and Braxton and I were just like staying up till 2, 3 a.m. And like, I felt like I didn't manage that well. And I guess looking hindsight, like I could have just purchased a new computer at that time, but that just wasn't even on my radar as an option. And so it was a huge learning experience for me because we could have gotten so much more stuff done on time. And then because of that, it just felt super stressful. We didn't get all the things done we wanted to get done during launch week. Whereas this time we had a really good plan, and we've been executing that plan very well. And you still run into roadblocks, like your YouTube live stream going to your webcam instead of the ATEM mini switcher.
It was a truly flattering angle of my chin that my laptop decided to broadcast to everyone that is subscribed to you. Yep, stuff like that happens, and it's okay. Just got to deal with it and roll with it.
Yeah, but I mean, yesterday we launched a video. Today we released a video.
Tomorrow we're launching a video.
Okay,
Saturday we're launching a video.
Tomorrow's video is so fun.
Yeah,
it is the studio tour. Yeah, hold on. Let me give him a little sneak peek.
Is there? Yeah. Do you have a little rough cut? Right.
Wait, is it on? No, is it under my edits? Let's see.
Oh, you don't want to see me right now. Hang on.
Let's see. It's under studio tour. Yeah. So this is what it looks like. This is fun. You don't get to hear any sound, but it's very funny. This is the part where I'm like, we've been filming a lot of stuff this week, and we've been shooting a lot of BTS. Oh, I talk about the classroom. Oh yeah. First it goes classroom. Like we're in launch week, got the new film camera. And then we were shooting a lot of BTS, and I was like, we even have BTS right now. And it cuts to Mike. And then it cuts to Josh. And then it cuts to Steven. I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore. But then I go through Creative Club and share everything that's like new to our space right now, which it doesn't look all that impressive. There's party mode right there. But I just share all the plans that we're going to be doing over the next 3 months, which are huge. Like we're just waiting on furniture and like things to fall into place. But this is the room we're sitting in right now, and we've like really set it up for success. And it's just been so nice that it's clean and organized, and we have the paper mounted on the wall now. And then this scanning station, this is exciting because Steven literally, as I was giving my presentation, Steven was scanning our film that we just got from the shoot that's going to go live on Saturday.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so that's coming tomorrow. And then, wait, where do I go now? Wait, go back to my face. It's just an endless loop of Steven. You can go back to my face. Just an endless loop of YouTube.
Wait, chaos.
So tomorrow, so yesterday, oh my gosh, what are all the videos released?
No, we got it. You got it. Do you want me?
No. Yesterday.
You got it.
What did we
Say
release
it to me.
yesterday?
What did we release yesterday?
Well, today we released the 12-minute video on how to take your business full-time.
Correct.
Very proud of that piece. It looks wonderful.
It's awesome.
And then
yesterday,
What did we post yesterday?
We're going to say it at the same time. Ready?
No.
3, 2, 1.
Dance party.
Gear video.
Gear video. Dang it. Yeah, it was a gear
party.
video where we talked about the R5,
Yep.
high upgrades to the R5 and C70.
Mhm.
And that was another 12-minute video where you and I talked a good bit. Oh, it's just picture in a picture of me.
Oh, no.
We talked a
doing
good
so
bit
well.
about why I switched to the R5,
Uh-huh.
why I switched to the C70.
Yep.
Really fun video.
Yep.
Tomorrow we're going to do studio tour.
Yes.
Saturday is going to be a shoot at Golden Hour and Blue Hour with Josh and his wife, Tina.
Which we did last night.
Say hi again, Josh.
Hi.
Hello again, Josh.
You'll see some of the film that we shot because we got that developed today. Steven just scanned it 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And then live, I'm going to convert it.
In just a sec.
Yeah.
You'll get to see the actual process
Yeah,
of what it
which
takes
is cool.
to do it. Yeah.
There'll be one more video releasing on Monday on YouTube.
Mhm.
Just kind of sharing my heart with the classroom, and then
And one more of these.
one more live stream
Mhm.
Monday night. If you guys want to tune in again, Monday night, we're going 7:30 to
7:30
midnight.
Whew.
Yeah, 4.5 hour live stream.
Oh, boy.
It's gonna be awesome.
Espresso.
But yeah, on that one, we're just gonna do a full blown Q&A again and just like have a great time. So,
Mhm.
all right,
Great.
I'm gonna get back to questions. All right, let's see here. Let me get back up to the last question I was on. I'm gonna start going a lot quicker. Sorry, I'm so delayed on this. Put your questions in the chat if you have any. How do I price myself with family and friends? Great question. I try to go as minimal as I can when it comes to family. And if you need the cash, like just talk to them and figure out what's appropriate. But I try not to shoot that if I don't have to. But if like they don't have other options or they're like on a budget, then I want to try to help out in some way. So just being really flexible. Don't be stingy. It's your family. What am I going to do with the first big chunk of money from the course? Reinvest it into the course? Get my kitchen redone? Great question. So last time we had a big chunk from the course, and that was honestly this year has just been like, I've just been kind of flatlining profit-wise all year so far because we've been going on these documentary trips and I haven't had the funding for it yet. So I've been getting all new gear as well. So I bought a C70. I bought a 15 to 35 RF. I bought a 50 mil RF. I bought an R5. I just bought an R6. Like I'm buying all new gear. And so it's been investing in that stuff. I paid off my car and yeah, so no debt there, which is awesome. I love no debt. This time, we don't know what it'll be like this time. It's slower than last time, but a lot of people end up buying the course last minute, like the last 48 hours. So we'll just wait to see what that's like come Sunday and Monday. But this time, it's going to be a lot of reinvesting in my personal life with like remodeling our house and getting it to the place we want it and figuring out like what my wife and I's future investments are going to look like, whether it be Airbnb or getting a different house than the one we have now. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Oh, I thought you wanted to add something, Steven. No. Great info. Thanks for watching all the way from Guatemala. Hey, awesome. Trying to develop a timeless look on photos like I've seen you talk about in other videos. Any advice on that? Yeah, it's trying not to get on the trendy train, like not getting presets that are just like super vibey with desaturated greens or like super orange or skin. Like just you don't want to go like full sepia route, like old 2003 looking photos. That's really not going to stand over the test of time. So that's a huge reason why I built the 606 presets the way I did and why they're so simple is because I just wanted them to be super timeless. So Ravenswood is a classic look. Belmont's more of a vibey look, but still pretty classic. And then Montrose is a black and white that's got great contrast ratio and it isn't like too faded or anything. So I think ultimately just landing on a preset pack that you feel like is timeless is going to be really helpful. So like For the Love of Film by Jose Villa would be a great option. I know Benja's Cascade has done wonders for me over the years. But yeah, that's ultimately why I did 606 and why I built it that way, was to be able to do that and have modifiers that like really help make the image look like real life. A huge part of that outside of presets is preserving dynamic range and having good contrast ratio. Dynamic range is so important because our eyes see with such good dynamic range. I researched it recently. Our eyes see with about 20 stops of dynamic range in the right lighting. And most cameras can only go to like 16 stops of dynamic range. So you're never really going to emulate what the human eye sees in a healthy human eye, but you can emulate it as much as you can. So that means saving the highlights, not blowing them out. So that's a shooting thing, like making sure you're shooting it right. And that might be getting your histogram right in your camera, making sure your highlights aren't blown, and then not keeping your shadows so dark that they're unrecoverable by lifting the shadows in post. And that's why we made the highlight slider and the shadow slider and the dynamic range slider in the preset pack as well, to preserve all those things and make them look as natural as possible. Yeah, Jennifer said 606 logo is awesome, Steven.
Thank you, Jennifer.
The classroom definitely, oh, Luke, thank you. Classroom definitely helped me in my first wedding, helped build from the ground up, but it's not for everyone. Yep, I totally agree. Yeah, and like I said, it makes most sense for people in that scenario. Like the beginning modules are way more for starting, for people starting, and the more experienced people might want to blow through those. And I give warning in the classroom, like, don't fly through these, because the basics and foundation of your work could be the inspiration for the more nuanced stuff later. But all of the middle modules to the end modules are for more experienced people. So going at your own pace when you're just starting out is helpful, and doing that over time. And a common question people ask is like, do I get lifetime access to the classroom? I can't ever guarantee lifetime access. Nobody can, because like the websites we host them on could go out of business, and then we have to find a new host or whatever. Or like 5 years from now, I might be doing something completely different with my life, and I can't keep hosting and paying that price to keep hosting it. 2 years is what I say. 2 to 4 years is what I'm most likely going to do hosting it, which is more than enough time for you to watch all the stuff and engage with it. Curious if buying a better camera gave me more motivation to work harder and make a better result. How was it for you when I first bought a high-level mirrorless camera? I only bought a mirrorless camera last fall for the first time. I had mirrored cameras all the way up to last fall. And it's a great upgrade, but it's not like transformative in my work. It really isn't. Like it's nice to have the extra features. It's nice to have an EVF. It's nice to have better autofocus. It's nice to have higher megapixel photos. But yeah, gear's never going to, in my opinion, gear's never going to motivate you in a way that your philosophy can, and like figuring out what inspires you creatively. Like those things to me are so much more important than upgrading your gear. Now, the opposite side coin is that gear does actually matter. To talk about that in my video today that I released on YouTube. It definitely does matter, but you just have to recognize that it only matters to a certain extent. Like it only matters really visually, maybe audio wise too on video. But ultimately for me is like that little extra step of looking better or sounding better is only to enhance the experience of the viewer. And that's only to enhance the thing that I care about more, is the emotion behind the imagery and the story behind the imagery. If that's what it's doing, great. But it's not going to do those things inherently. You have to work towards better story and better storytelling and photojournalism. Hi from Australia. Good day. That was bad. Sorry. Good day.
No, you nailed it. That was great. So Australian of you.
Great to see an educator with a philosophy. That's so sweet. Premium prices here for wedding films are around $2,800, which is $4,200 in Australian. Any tips for making films at this price point? I think the question might be more of like how to get above that price point or how to get at that price point. And this is where I use my classic line, lean into what makes you different. And that means visually, that means storytelling, like figure out ways that get your stuff to set yourself apart from the crowd. What are you going to do to differentiate the look and the sound of your film versus everybody else that your potential clients are looking at? Then after that is done, you start making work that just looks different and stands out. Then start giving your clients an experience that just blows them out of the water. So the combination of looking, sounding, feeling different, and then giving an experience that just makes them go like, I couldn't have imagined having anybody else here but you. Thank you so much for doing that for us. And then delivering a film that also blows them out of the water. That's where you can start charging bigger and better prices for yourself, because then you are going to skyrocket demand for yourself. And then that's when you start running into that problem I talked about in the presentation, where it's like, that is the natural way for you to then raise those prices so you don't feel overwhelmed with the demand that's coming through the door, and you can start setting your own prices because people are seeking you out in your different voice. But it all stems from that intentionality. You have to be intentional with the steps that you're doing. Yes, renting new gear, making your stuff look and sound better, but what are you doing past that? What kind of story are you pushing yourself to do? What kind of inspiration are you pulling from to make your films look and feel different than everybody else's? Uncle Steven trying to show off his chest muscles for you. Michael's unhinged up in here.
That's right, Michael. Thank you for noticing. I really appreciate it.
Do I feel like I had a surrounding or community that was willing to pay $2.5 to $3.5K for a wedding package, or did you have to go out of your way to find these people? Yeah. So asking the question, like, to find those people who are like in that price range, to compare myself and compare my skills. I think that's ultimately what that question's asking. Well, in Chicago, like, we built this studio, and the studio was so beneficial for us because we did like open co-working events. And before we opened the studio, we had Facebook groups that we were a part of. Steve wasn't here yet, but it was like me, Bean, Mike, and Gene. We would go to this Facebook group called The Breakfast Club twice every year, like different seasons. We'd go to the hangout and get to know all the other people. That networking led to so much second shooting, and the second shooting led to talking about pricing and how your season's going and like how you're booking. And it's just this organic way of coaching one another. So it's really just, again, intentionality of seeking that out in your own way. It's a different climate and world now than it was 7 years ago on Facebook. Like, Facebook groups don't really meet up in person anymore, from my understanding. So what could you do to get that happening again, where, the world is very much opened up now versus the past 2 years? So what kind of event can you put on or you do to get people together in the same room? Or what kind of workshop can you go to? What kind of community can you be a part of to start getting those conversations going? Okay. All right, Stephen, I want you to field some of these questions. I want to hear your response. Okay, let's see. We have, oh shoot, I lost myself. Here we go. If you're happy with how this live stream goes, it'd be awesome to see you stream a wedding in it. Well, yeah, it's hard. I would love to do a lot of that stuff, but I also want to be fair to all the students in the classroom, because I do a full editing module where I do an entire wedding edit, and maybe a portion of one, because it takes me like an entire work week to actually do a full edit. So I'm not going to do that on one live stream. It's a great idea, but Braxton's here. Do you have a me mew? Do you have a me mew sound?
No, the sounds are so bad. I disconnected my phone. They all sound like Garbo. But look at that.
Hi there. Oh, wait.
Hi there.
Hi there.
It's more expensive than the arson.
Brax, talk for me, brother.
Talk. How do I sound?
Sound delicious.
I sound delicious.
You're a tasty snack.
Why did you say delicious?
Delicious.
Did you boys both
Gross.
move this way a little bit?
That's
Brax, where are you coming from?
Well, I am coming from a proposal that I shot in the very discreet and never heard of spot in Chicago. It's a little place called North Ave.
Oh, wow. Where?
This is a
Where
little
is
secret
that?
spot.
Where's that?
Like, I'm kind of keeping it to myself right now.
I've never been there before.
It's just like a little hidden gem that,
Yeah.
Did it actually happen?
it actually did not end up happening.
Wait, what?
The client emailed me one date and thought another.
No.
Yes.
Wait, so he didn't propose tonight?
No, he never showed up. He called.
What?
We were supposed to meet up at 7, and we messaged today, and all the correspondence sounded like we were good for today. I literally texted him and said, "Great, see you at 7." And he said, "Great, we'll let you know if we're running behind." And then 7 o'clock rolls around, I hear nothing. 7:30, 8 o'clock. Finally, at 8 o'clock, I get him to respond to a text, and he goes, "Oh, Braxton, it's Saturday, not today."
No.
And then so I scrambled, checked the email. I'm like, "No, your email says the 21st." And then he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I fumbled the date."
You're like, okay, I'll send you the invoice.
And I'm like, "Okay, I'll send you the invoice, and you're going to have to find a replacement because I'm shooting a wedding this Saturday."
Oh, dang. That's a bummer.
Yeah.
No, will you charge them?
I will definitely keep their retainer.
Yeah. That's fair.
Um,
That's a bummer.
yeah.
Dang. Sorry
is,
that happened.
but it's fine. I got
At
to see
least
them first.
it wasn't like it was tonight and you thought it was Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
At
I
least
was-
he was wrong and not you.
also like that, but also like my mind automatically goes to like worst case scenario. And so like me and my wife were sitting there and we were like, wait, did they like get in a wreck? Or
Oh
like,
yeah.
did she like know what was happening? And she was like, yeah, no, don't do that because I'm saying no or something.
Oh.
Like you go through all like the worst case scenarios of like why they're not there. Because like you would like no offense to the guy, but you would think you would not mess up the date that
Yeah.
you're proposing on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
well.
literally all of us have gotten married. Boys, would any of you mess up that date?
Heck
No.
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 Great. Okay. So that's unanimous. Awesome.
So
Okay. All right. Let's jump back into questions.
sick.
We
I
have.
miss these so much.
Isn't it fun? Okay. What camera did I start with? What camera did you guys start with to shoot? Let's see. Everyone has a good camera foundation that shoots weddings like a 1DX or Fujifilm. I rarely hear someone say that they shot on a Canon M50 or iPhone Pro for their first wedding. Yeah, agreed. Don't shoot it on iPhone. I say that in my YouTube video today. Steven, what did you start on?
I think I started on a professionally or just in general.
First wedding you ever shot?
First wedding I ever shot was a 5D Mark III and a Canon 60D.
So yeah, you started on something pretty good.
I was very, very committed to having at least one, in my mind, professional.
Yeah.
Thank you. Camera,
Yeah.
like a full frame camera as my main camera
Uh-huh.
with a crop sensor
Backup.
DSLR as my backup, which the 60D was my very first camera, like DSLR camera that I got.
I started with Canon T2i. Shot my first wedding
Nice.
with a T2i
Yeah.
crop sensor.
Yep.
It was the only camera I had.
Mhm.
Didn't have a backup.
Mhm.
Bad idea. I was fine. Made it through the day. I charged it $800 for that photo wedding.
Wow.
Not too bad.
No, for your first?
Yeah, in 2012,
800
2011.
for your first. That's not bad at all.
I know. I was shooting a lot of portraits at that time.
Oh, okay.
So I at least had that as a confidence booster to charge that for my first photo wedding. I charged
Okay.
$300 for my first video wedding.
At that point for the photo wedding with the T2i, was backup camera or camera with dual card slots on your mind at all?
Nope, not at all. I had no idea about the dual card slot thing. There weren't even dual card slot cameras at that point.
Oh, wow.
Wait, when was your first wedding?
2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, was the 5D3 not a camera then?
No, 5D2.
Way.
5D2 had like just come out, I think. And that was one card slot. It was a CF card.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
you're
a single
talking
card
to
slot
you're
camera.
talking to an old man over here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I turned 31 next week.
You do.
Yeah.
And you don't look a day over 30, let me tell you.
Oh.
My first camera was a Nikon D3400. Well, no, I take that back. My first camera was a Nikon F3. I got that 3 days before I got my Nikon D3400. I was like, at that time, the digital camera seemed a lot harder to figure out than the film camera. So I shot on a Nikon F3 for a while. Then I was like, oh, I should probably figure this out if I want to do anything with it. So I picked up my Nikon, and then I ended up shooting my first ever wedding with that. I shot a photo wedding, and I charged $350
Yep.
for that wedding. Funny enough, I remember I still have the DM. He DM'd me asking if I would shoot his wedding. I said yes, and he goes, great. I just had a photographer quote me $900, and there's no way we can afford that. And at the time, I remember seeing $900 and being like, dude, I think I texted him, dude, you're about to get scammed. I literally said, dude, you're about to get scammed. Don't worry. I'll take care of you. That was also me like being a salesman. And so I quoted him $350. I rented from Lens Rentals. It was like a crop sensor 24-70. It was like a 16-50 2.8 or something. That lens like blew my mind at the time.
Yeah.
The wedding ended up being very interesting.
Oh yeah, there's like a brawl.
Oh, there was so many things. The groom's father showed up drunk and late. We never took bridesmaids portraits or like bridesmaid photos. So at the reception, when it was pitch black, we got a floodlight, like a construction floodlight, because this was on a farm.
As you do, yeah.
And we just lit them up and took the photo. Oh, but then I sold that and got the Sony A7 II.
Yep.
And I remember seeing an EVF for the first time. This was probably 2017.
Electronic viewfinder.
Yes. And my mind was, I remember going and showing my mom and being like, Mom, look at this. Like, this is insane.
Because you were 12.
Yes. And you were what, 40? Oh, dude. Those were the days, though. Like,
Schwa, what did you do on your first wedding? What
Man.
camera did you have?
So my first wedding was in 2018. And it was actually a close friend of mine. So I was just like, I'll do it for free as their wedding gift because we were that close. Back in that day,
Smart.
I did that because like I just wanted to be able to get my foot in to get experience.
Yeah. Smart.
The camera I had at the time was a Panasonic Lumix G7.
Yep.
Honestly, still to this day is one of my favorite cameras I've owned.
Slaps.
As far as color.
Yeah.
Autofocus is trash. Don't even get me started on that.
does Panasonic make anything with good autofocus?
Honestly, yes. The newest cameras are actually kind of
The S5.
yeah.
Like the-
S5.
okay.
Yeah, S5. But like I think like you, Eric, I had only one SD card slot, and that was my only camera.
You shot video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did video. I'm a wedding videographer. I haven't done photos. It was a pretty smooth night. I've probably only shot less than 10 weddings since 2018.
Yeah.
But each one has gotten better because of just experience and checking out, what sort of things aids in the storytelling of a wedding, and the fact that you can even craft a story in a wedding. Because a lot of people who ask me for weddings, they're like, "Oh, you're just going to set up a camera and record?" I'm like, no.
But then having the portfolio to prove that you do more than
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And then like doing what you can to make sure that you have portfolio pieces like that, so you can show people that that's what you do and that's why you cost more money.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Okay.
Also, thank you, Michael. Michael said congrats on getting married.
Aw. Okay.
We love you, Michael.
How would you go about pricing yourself for more personal, non-linear wedding films in a big city market where there are a few big wedding film companies that just hire shooters and send out the edit? How would you go about pricing yourself for more personal, non-linear wedding films? So if those companies are competition for you and they're like edging you out and booking over you, then your stuff has to stand out much more than them, especially if they're sending out their edits. They're probably doing edits that are nice and beautiful, but really don't like hit the emotion the way you could if you really take your time and like craft that narration. So first do that and set your stuff apart. Then if you charge the same price as them, then you're going to just appear so much better at the same price, and that will give you that edge. Or maybe you just charge a little bit less than them and you're better to get your foot in that market, get a few portfolio weddings in, get some stuff on your site that is so solid and proves that you can tell a story like that. And then once that demand, like I said, starts rolling in, you can start raising those prices, getting above those other teams that are booking at that rate. We have, how would you go about finding clients without seeming desperate? Yeah, I wouldn't ever recommend reaching out to people, like asking them to pay full price. Like, it's not a good look to go on someone's Facebook post or Instagram post where they're just like, we just got engaged. And then you're commenting like, hey, shoot me a link, like shoot me a DM or whatever, or fill out my contact form on my site. Just being organic and saying congratulations, and then maybe offering like, hey, I would actually love to shoot your engagement session for free. Like doing something where you're just going above and beyond and not asking for anything and just giving value to them. You'd be so surprised at how many couples in that scenario would then consider to have you shoot their wedding, or doing some sort of like film. If you are a wedding filmmaker, doing like, can I just do like a day in the life for you guys and capturing this time in your life, and just getting in their head or their family's head or their friend's head, because they're going to be posting all that stuff on their own social channels. Do it for free. That's your marketing. And the beautiful thing about that marketing is that you're not spending any dollars, you're just spending your time. So maybe you are spending dollars on getting a rental or something, or a lens that you really wanted to work with, but thinking of it that way that's your ad spending, that's your marketing, and just offering value first. It's the same thing I always offer advice wise to people wanting to get into second shooting for other people or assisting other people. Don't ever approach them being like, would love a second shoot for you sometime. Well, like if they don't know you, why would they just say yes to that? You have to be like, hey, I would love to assist for free. Like can I second shoot for free? I would love to just get to know you, or maybe just assist for free so you could get to know me. Or can I buy you coffee? Or can I treat you to lunch? I'm just getting to know people. Doing it that way, offering value and offering something for them instead of just being like, hey, can I get something from you? No one's interested in that. And so reaching out in an organic way that offers value first is so important in building those relationships and building your marketing base.
To add to like leading with value, there's people that like, you don't even really have to know them, but like there's people that like, I kind of like, we had like a mutual friend, or like I knew them through like 3 other people, or so like I've messaged people and just been like, hey, I just noticed you got engaged. Congratulations. If you need any help with the planning process, with finding vendors, anything, I would love to help you. Like just offering help. You don't even have to bring up, hey, I want to shoot for you, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to click on your page, be like, oh, wow, you do this. Why don't you just do this? Like I've booked several weddings through that. Yeah. I had a friend that I went to youth camp with in 7th grade. My sophomore year of college, I just randomly saw her Snapchat story. I hadn't talked to her in years. She got engaged. I messaged her and just said, hey, I just saw you got engaged. Congratulations. Would love to help in any way. And she actually go, oh my gosh, you do video, don't you? And I go, yes. And she goes, great. We're actually looking for a videographer right now. Yeah. Wedding booked right there.
Yep. Not being afraid to just like put yourself out there. Yep. And just getting into conversation that leads into the next question that's here. Any tips on breaking into the luxury market? The luxury market, I'm not in it, but everything I know about it and the friends that I know who are in it, it's all about relationship building. Like that is almost exclusively what it's about. It's about who you know. And that's a lot of big business, is just who you know and getting the deals. Like, Steven, bring up the example you had about Moment today. You remember?
You mean like the long weekend bag?
No,
thing, or?
Yes, but the anamorphic example you brought up earlier.
In the car earlier.
Yeah.
So Moment closed out their anamorphic lens adapter Kickstarter, I think this morning.
Yeah.
Totally done. They went like well above what they were hoping to get, which is awesome. Congrats to them. But I noticed that in the comments on the pinned post they had about the adapter, people are obviously really excited about it. And I saw a lot of comments along the lines of, oh my gosh, would be so cool if I got to test this out for you guys. Would love to make a video about it. Happy to do it for free. Like
Send
stuff
it to me.
Like in that sentiment. Like I'm willing to make a video for you in exchange to like have a cool thing. Yep, more or less. And it was interesting. I like kind of like just tapped on some of those profiles. I was like, oh wow, like a lot of these people do have pretty large followings. Like if Moment did see any of these, it actually could be like maybe helpful for them to partner with them.
Larger than your following.
Oh, most of them were larger than mine.
Yeah.
But then I thought about the fact that Moment filmed the Kickstarter for that lens in our studio and that we're friends with a lot of the people on their team, a lot of the public facing people on their team, and that we just have friendships with a lot of them.
And how do we get those friendships?
By being nice.
Yeah.
And making cool stuff.
Exactly.
And just like not really like looking for relationships to be the thing that gives us something that we want, but rather just like genuinely wanting to be invested in those people.
And how we pitch them to be on our podcast too.
That's true.
Yeah.
We did do that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. And how like Josh just lives close to us out here. He's in Indiana. We're in Illinois. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, just come hang out. Like, let's grab a bite to eat, hang out, have a good time. But there is so much to be said about just being honest with people, being kind to people with truly no expectation of that going anywhere. Yeah. Just doing it for the sake of being a good person. And in this case, some of those people are people that have a lot of really cool stuff that they're working on, and we get to work with them on that and do cool things together. But that was like a really interesting moment though, seeing that. I'm like, oh, like
Really interesting moment.
How dare you?
I think what was really cool in all that too is like when we went to lunch with Josh, he was just as excited to work with us about what we were working on.
Josh, I don't know. You're probably not on this stream right now, but we love you very much. You're awesome.
We do love Josh.
We do love Josh.
Rig Daddy.
Rig Daddy. Ridge Daddy. No,
Dude, Dad Strides is over.
What?
Wait, did
Last episode just aired.
I don't even listen to them, and I'm sad.
Yeah, I know. It made me
End
real
of an
sad.
era, man.
Yeah.
Why?
Niles and Caleb started a running podcast called Dad Strides, and it's officially over.
Is that why that episode was called The Last Stride?
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's sad. I still need to listen to it. But they're full blown on Sunny 16 now.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about doing a Sunny 16 Creative Club collab.
Oh, it's just a matter of time.
It will.
Oh, it's just a matter of time. It'll
Matter of
happen.
time. Yeah. But it's interesting to see how relationships can sometimes supersede social audiences.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That people think of you first, like when you're in those relationships and wanting to collaborate on stuff like that. They don't go to the person they don't know with a huge following. They go to you because they know the work that you can do and what you're capable of and how good of a person you are. So
That's not just like the social landscape of photography and stuff. Like that's just everything. That's life.
well, that's when you came to me and wanted to be a part of all of this. You led
Like that's literally
with
how I
value.
ended up here.
You just led with value. Like you weren't just like, because we get tons of DMs. It's like, I would love to intern for you guys, which that is leading with value, but it's just like, what more than that is there? You know, when Josh reached out to me, he was just like, he showed me, I just looked back at the email today. You were like, here are some of my wedding films. Here is my website. It wasn't just like, hey, can I intern for you? It's then going the extra step and being like, can I work with you? And also here's this extra thing. And here's this other added value. And like, here's how I'd like to show up and be a part of this in this other interesting way than just, hey, can I get something from you? You know?
Yeah. And then like when it came to, you were accepting that and joining the edits, like I've done a lot more than just editing and, like Eric's saying, putting your best foot forward and not focusing on, what are you getting out of this? Just being genuinely a caring human being. I guess I could put it that way.
Yep.
And, when you build genuine friendships like that with people, like I had someone recently today be like, how do you get to where you are today? It's like, am I now getting these questions? I can't tell you exactly how in the world you get to a place in your career. Honestly, the only advice I can give is it starts with just, making real connections with people.
Or you comment on every single YouTube video they make and be the first commenter.
Every time.
Every time. Okay. Steven's putting an IPA in a wine glass.
That is the best thing about saying.
Come on, cut to yourself.
It's really tough to be the one in command of all of this, the adult here, and also clearly the child in the Hawaiian shirt pouring beer into a wine glass.
Beer into a wine
I wish
glass.
they could see your full fit right now.
I'm
Hold on.
pouring one out for Mike right now because
on,
he
let me
cannot
take-
be here and he would hate that I'm putting beer in a wine glass.
Hold on, I need a photo of you right now.
I am in such a vulnerable position right now. How dare you?
Hold your wine beer up and
Hold
let
your
me take
wine
your
beer.
portrait. Come on.
Okay, I'm gonna put you in picture.
Okay.
Wait.
Mahalo.
If anyone's not on the live stream, put this on Instagram. If anyone's not on the live
Hey, we're
stream,
getting
they
loose
need
on
to
the
be.
live stream over here.
Getting really loose on the live stream. Goodness.
I gotta put a link to the live stream with Steven like that.
Goodness gratuitous. My
Goodness.
shorts are running shorts, ladies and gentlemen.
They are very short, is what they are.
It's really hot in this room, and I'm really happy I changed into these because jeans would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeans shorts would have been gross to wear.
You're in jeans. You're in jeans. All three of you are in jeans.
I wear jeans every day of my life.
That's a good point. Jeans are just your legs, aren't they?
Oh, what little legs I have.
Steven, this is so funny. It just is a photo of you in a Hawaiian shirt with beer in a wine glass, and it just says live stream, and you're like, mahalo. look at
I
this.
peaked.
Wait, switch to me.
awesome.
Switch to me.
That's so
That's
good.
incredible.
This is going on
Do
Instagram.
that.
Cheers, my guy.
Wait.
It's just Steven going
Cheers.
mahalo, and it's like live stream. That's amazing.
Oh, that's very good to me.
Oh wow. Okay, that's very funny. All right, let's get going on questions again. Someone looking to build a portfolio, would you suggest working for a wedding videography company that places videographers at weddings to build that portfolio? Only if they're willing to let you use that work as a portfolio piece. A lot of those businesses will have a non-compete sort of clause. Like you can only use it for our company, which makes sense. They're hiring you. It is their copyright. So some companies will let you do that. And second shooting for more freelancers is easier to do that. Like I let my second shooters use whatever they want. Whereas a company, it'd be less likely that they'd be willing to let you do that. So maybe seek out more individual entrepreneurs. It was a glorious angle of Steven. We're way back. We're too far back right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really far back.
Yeah, C70 rocks. Just got it for work. Agreed. C70 is amazing. That's the camera that's filming me right now. Sorry, I got the burps from beer. Kayla, you need to network with the vendors of this market and are someone that is influential. Example, John and Joseph broke into the field by shooting an NBA players event, and they were referred all the way up to Chris Pratt, Kardashian. Yeah.
What?
Because he has an exclusive membership to a lounge where all the celebs hang. Yep, you need a membership to Soho House, and you need to be able to connect with people. Like it's a game, is all it is the super high end market. Like, and really, it's a game with connecting with planners too. Like my friend Kyle, who's in the luxury market, literally took a group of planners on a ski trip in Colorado, like fully out of his pocket, just took them on a ski trip. So like you need to be willing to do things like that.
Sounds like I need to be a planner.
Braxton being a wedding planner. He's like, all right, guys, we're doing Michelob Ultra all
It's
night
an
long.
open bar.
Open bar.
Open
And
bar.
the only thing to serve is Michelob
Michelob
Ultra and Natty Light.
Wait, how did Kalyn get on the team at Nick's wedding?
And Nick Jonas's wedding.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. I
knew the
full,
guy,
full
didn't I?
Christian name, Nick Jonas.
Yeah.
His wedding, that guy's wedding.
Nick, yeah. So Kalyn is friends with the lead shooter. I believe his
Okay.
name is Caleb.
Okay.
So they've connected through a bunch
Got it.
of online DMs and
Mhm.
all that stuff. And I think his name is Caleb.
Okay.
And I think they're from the same area too.
Oh, they grew up in the same area.
I think they're both from that
Colorado?
Denver, Colorado area.
Again, it's
Yeah,
all
okay.
it's all connections, and obviously it's ability level too. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't just going to hire anyone to shoot
Yeah.
Nick Jonas's wedding, but Caleb was like got a terrible flight delay
Uh-huh.
and couldn't make the first day of shooting. So Kalyn was lead shooter,
Yeah.
and then Kalyn, his airline lost his bag, so he didn't have his gimbal, so he had to go handheld with a GH5 and a helicopter. And thankfully, the GH5 has miraculous IBIS.
Literally the best IBIS on the market.
Yeah, so he was
That's
fine.
insane. I can't believe he did that handheld.
He told me that he had only about 60 seconds of groom prep footage. Like he had to run in.
60 seconds of time to
Yes.
do it?
They said they came out of the hotel room and they're like, you literally have 1 minute. Are you ready? And he's like, okay. So he ran in and he got like 6 shots, like 10 seconds a piece. And they all looked very different. And so it was like one center shot on the window silhouette, one next to the window with button, one running through the hair, one doing the tie, and then like one more. And then he's like, all right, you're out, you're done. Like, okay.
Way to go, Kalyn.
And ultimately that is kind of all you need a lot of the time with getting ready shots.
That's
So
true.
I'm sure it's kind of nice, but I'm sure extremely stressful.
Yeah. Well,
Clearly
because
you need to know what you're doing,
it's a superstar celebrity that you're going into film also. So that colors it.
but it's not like he doesn't know how to be in front of a camera.
That's true.
So super easy.
That's
to pose.
true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about messing up the date on a proposal. Can you imagine not being able to show up for the first day of Nick Jonas's wedding?
Just because your flight, like there's
Yeah.
just completely out of your control.
Like you get that notification and you're
But that's why you have a team of 4 people because
Yeah.
they were able to cover it
Right.
Yeah.
And they're all
from different places.
talented enough
Yeah.
to be the lead shooter if
100%.
need be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. There's safeguards in place for sure. NBA players, event, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's a good idea to help develop people and shooting skills as well as how to problem solve on the go. I've shot hundreds of weddings for these kinds of companies and have learned a lot. What does the name 606 come from? Great question. There's a trail in Chicago, an old elevated train track that was turned into a bike and walking and running trail. And it's called the 606. And it's where I like fell in love with marathon training and marathon running. So it's just a super nostalgic place for me. So I wanted the name to have a ton of meaning. And all of the names of the presets, Montrose, Belmont, and Ravenswood, are all streets and places in Chicago that are really important to me. So, and then with the LUTs as well, Avondale and North Park are the two neighborhoods we lived in Chicago. So yeah, tons of meaning there. PJ says, is Jake Weisler a secret investor in the classroom? Jake Weisler from Full-Time Filmmaker.
Well, he's not a part of Full-Time Filmmaker anymore.
No, I think he is actually. I think he went back.
He just announced like a few weeks ago
that he's doing weddings again.
That he's doing what he called a fine art wedding film house. And it was him, some other guy, and actually Tanner Castro, our friend Tanner.
Wait, really?
Is in talks with him to be a part of that, I think.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Jake kills it. He really does. And he's probably trying to bust into the luxury market in that way. Yeah. Which he has the chops to do so for sure.
Yep.
I'm sure he's still like friends with Full-Time Filmmaker, and he'll probably do some stuff.
Oh, yeah. What website do I use to host my courses? Is it a particular provider, or did you build it from the ground up? Question from someone who would love to make courses one day. Great question, Chris. We use Thinkific, Thinkific, Thinkific. A lot of people use Kajabi. We decided to go with Thinkific because Mike did a ton of research. He preferred Thinkific over Kajabi. I wasn't part of that research process, but I really do like Thinkific.
Overall, as someone who played a big part in the building of the website and like the back end stuff, it's very good. We had a couple of minor complaints that are, in the grand scheme of things, I think like pretty minor. Yeah. Everything else was like very, very easy as far as like going in as a beginner and being able to build what we did build. Yeah. None of us had any experience with Thinkific before creating the account and just doing it. Right. So we've really enjoyed it so far. It's been really good as far as monitoring sales and like being able to build a very beautiful website and present that almost like in a Squarespace fashion. It's very plug and play, like dropping bricks in, and very, very user friendly. So Thinkific has definitely been a good part of the business so far.
If you have any questions about the classroom or you feel like you're on the fence, feel free to comment. Any question you have about that, I'd love to be able to answer that in this live stream as well. If I can provide any clarification or give you some clarity on whether I think you're ready for it or not. Do I think one should brand or market themselves exclusively as a wedding photographer? I want to continue shooting fashion and portraits too, see where that takes me, but keep booking weddings as well. It's all based on demand and what you're capable of doing, in my opinion. I think so many people struggle with trying to diversify too early. And if you try to diversify too early, you end up being someone who is just doing a couple of things in a couple of places and not really mastering anything. Why do I always forget the phrase?
Jack of all trades and a master of none.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So Stephen loves that phrase, and it's so true. Because you could just be kind of part-time or minimally part-time in 5 different things and not even patching together like a full-time salary. Yeah. But if you really focus on one thing, build it well and make it sustainable, then you can start branching off of that thing into something else. And then you could build that thing to sustainability and then branching into something else, because then you start outsourcing and creating systems that allow you to let that thing kind of automate itself before moving on to the next thing.
As far as the branding is concerned, though, I do think there's value in potentially separating, whether that's websites or Instagram pages or things like that, keeping all of your wedding portfolio in one place. Yeah. And then if you do want to pursue more like creative portraiture or commercial photography or whatever it is, hosting all of that in one separate place so that when a client reaches out about a wedding, you show them just your wedding work and not some coffee shops and some hotels that you've shot for and kind of things that might make them think like, oh, like they're like kind of like catch-all photographer. They're like doing a bunch of stuff. Okay. Right. Whereas like in the same deal, like vice versa, if a commercial brand reaches out and they're like, oh, we want to see your portfolio, you're not showing them couples on a mountain. Yeah. You're showing them like just the actual work that is relevant to them. So there is value maybe in just like separating that if you're at a place to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Big fan of separating brands and separating portfolios and stuff.
Well, yeah, big companies that own a bunch of different brands don't ever let you really know that they own those things. Like Disney owns ABC, but you'd have to do research to figure out what that is what's happening. And that's all over the place. Like so many people don't realize how many businesses or brands are actually owned by bigger entities. So it's all about marketing a specific brand when it comes down to it. And I would recommend, if you're really going after weddings, like do your best to get to that like 6-figure mark in a place that feels really healthy and is very profitable until you start deciding to do associate stuff or outsourcing your editing or diversifying in another way. Like try to get it to that place first. That's a really good benchmark in seeing like, okay, that's a place where you should start considering those other things. And obviously that's different in different places. 100K in a city environment is way different than 100K in a rural environment. And 6 figures is way different if you have a family versus being single. So all those variables are at play too. But I'm always recommending trying to focus on one thing at a time.
Love it. We're going to do rapid fire questions now.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Okay, ready? Joe Cassidy says, I started shooting film at weddings as kind of a special gift to the client afterwards, but I want to start having it as an add-on for a package.
Yeah.
Not sure how to price that though. What are your thoughts?
I would say start minimum at $1,000. Like I think that's a base of film, especially with how expensive it is now and how many rolls you're going to rip through.
Yep.
Make sure you have a frame of how many rolls you're going to go through. It's like, I'm going to shoot 6 to 10 at this price range. If you want 10 to 20, which is going to result in this many images, that's going to be this much, but make sure you still have profit after developing and scanning and the price of buying the film.
Yes. Michael Hancock, Brax to the max. Congrats on getting married. Well done. Ryan Clements, all about that Canon 6DD.
Let's
Love
go.
that. Jennifer
OG.
Breton, I definitely started on like a little Rebel back in the day.
Yep.
Very cool. Joe Cassidy again, same here with the Canon T2i.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
my first. Love
OG.
that. Ben Cribb, how do you deal with crazy brides? I don't do weddings. I have been avoiding them because of the pressure. Any past stories about clients like that? I've been wanting to expand experience and give them a go.
Yeah. So the whole idea, I really don't like the bridezilla phrase because like I was a groomzilla on my wedding day. I went crazy because I lost my tie clip and I made all of my groomsmen not wear a tie clip like a psychopath. And like people just do stupid stuff like that when they're under pressure and are feeling a lot of stress. So for you to have the perspective that they're being crazy is not helpful, in my opinion. It's you going up and showing up and going, I understand that you are stressed out right now. I'm gonna do the best I can to serve you right now. One of my brides back in 2017 was crazy stressed out and she lashed out at everyone and she came up to me and apologized on the dance floor at the reception. And her mom apologized on her behalf. And there was this moment of like, I understand you were stressed. I get it. And then we got beautiful portraits of her that day and her family and family photos and just like, it was just such a joyous celebration at the reception and like felt like everything was resolved. She passed away a year after the wedding. And it's just like, what would it have looked like if I just all day was just like, sticking my nose up at her and just being like, you don't deserve my time or energy. I'm not going to take your portrait because you're acting that way. But instead having the philosophy and understanding of like, no, people get stressed out and do things that aren't typical of their character. And you still need to have grace for them when they're under pressure and still show up and serve them no matter how you feel towards them in those moments. So that's how I feel about that.
That was beautiful. Matthew Fernandez, I started with the Canon M5, almost miss it. Cool. Love that. John Thompson, he graduated from 15 feet of extra XLR cable to just holding the mics. That's hilarious. Henry, we're so old. Eric, Canon 7D. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Is that Henry Wu? That's Henry Wu.
Nice. Let's go.
Oh, I love Henry.
So
Tommy Sir, hey, Eric, what is your percentage of declines after first conversations with clients?
These days, my percentage of booking is very low. It's probably in the 2 to 5% range based on inquiries because most people just aren't willing to pay the prices that I am charging now. But my inquiries are still pretty healthy. I'm still getting like 3 to 5 a week. But that only ends up booking 8 to 12 a year then. So it's people who are really serious about it.
Yep.
After first conversations, it's really high. Once I'm able to like get face-to-face time and really share my philosophy, because people know my prices, they're listed on my website. I send a PDF before we jump on a call FaceTime meeting. So then the conversion rate is usually pretty good once I'm able to at least explain myself.
Love it. Benjamin Straley, my first wedding getting ready area was a bathroom in a park.
Yep.
Michael Hancock, struggles were so real. My first was a Canon T1i.
Yep.
Jared Harder, shot with the Canon Rebel T6S. Then finally got the R6. Very cool. Ryan Clements, I would say try and build some reputation with local planners.
Yep.
That does a great job too. Jason Newen, can you talk about separating yourself from your brand?
Yeah, so I don't do that. My personal is so intermingled with my brand, but if you're going to do that, coming up with a universal name that feels like it matches your philosophy or what you do, I think is really important. But then that is the key way for you to build something that is both you or someone else or some other entity with associates or a team of other people doing something. But yeah, if you are personally invested in your brand, like being your name right now, that's what I would recommend, is coming up with a different rebrand and structuring it that way so that you can literally get your name out of there and start marketing it in a way where you are showcasing all the other people who are involved and introducing them and introducing their work.
Steven.
Love it.
Steven, there's a battery on the charger.
Anna said, just joined, so not sure if you've covered this. Hi, Anna, by the way. What time of year am I usually getting fully booked for the following year? So I'm not, I mean, when I was in my years of doing 30 weddings a year, it was getting all the way till April to May, where I was pretty much reaching full capacity. I never really closed my doors any of those years. I would let ones trickle in as they came out throughout the year. So I think by that time I was at like 25, and then by the end of the year I was at like 32. So I'd pick up another handful after that. Michael Shaka for the win. I'm so lost on this one.
Anna Lamb Studios, this year has been a lot. Trying to do half the weddings next year at a higher price, but not sure at what point I should pull pricing back if I'm not hitting that 10 to 15 that she wants to do.
Yeah, that's a gut feeling. And like I said, I don't know if you're here earlier, Anna, but I was just saying, like, do what you think is best for you and don't feel the stress of other people feeling like you're charging more now or you're charging less now than what you did before. Do what you need to do to fill out that season and negotiate with prices and finding your work. And don't be afraid to diversify a little bit. Do more family sessions, do more portrait sessions, do mini sessions, rent out a studio and try to book out like 8 sessions in there. Like, do what you have to do to make ends meet in those scenarios. But you might be finding yourself at your market at where the cap is for pricing. And so maybe it's time to bring on an associate or try to get more volume in the door.
David Scrivener, honestly, your Hawaiian tee is the most fitting for the weather right now. Y'all are wild for wearing jeans today.
Yeah, I know, it's bad. I should wear shorts.
Okay. Arthur, with your recent upgrade to the R5, what were the main benefits you anticipated over the R6? I have both an R5 and R6, but I haven't used anything that the R5 potentially offers over the R6 at weddings specifically.
Oh, okay. Well, for me, R5 with resolution is huge. Like being able to crop in on an image like 100% is insane.
Yeah.
They are much, much bigger files, and it doesn't do as well in low light because it's higher megapixel sensor. But for me, the R5 is more of a video move, to be honest. Like to have a B or C cam that can shoot that Canon RAW with the log 2 curve has been really cool for the documentary. Honestly, I don't use that for wedding work at all, the 8K RAW, especially with like overheating and that stuff. But for photo, like you do just have more megapixels. Outside of that, what else do you feel?
I had the R6 for a year and absolutely loved it. Yep. I did sell it recently to our friend Lucas in favor of the R5 because of the amount of commercial work that we're taking on, the video specs, et cetera, et cetera. Truthfully, the cropping ability is one of the bigger advantages. The video specs are incredible. And I personally think there is a little bit more of dynamic range out of the sensor. Having edited a ton of R6 files and now a lot of R5 files as well, they have 2 different sensors, the R5 and R6. And the R5 is a brand new one that Canon had developed. And I personally love editing those files.
It almost feels like the R5 sensor feels like log 2 in video, and the R6 feels like log 3 in video.
Yeah. I've really, really enjoyed my experience with the R5. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not necessary to get the R5 for weddings, but it's nice.
I still think the R6 is the perfect wedding photographer camera.
It really is, yeah. I mean, you might have scenarios where you need to punch in, you don't have as much resolution, but as long as they're not blowing it up 24 by 36, like...
And even then you can with 20 megapixels. Yeah. You totally can.
Because of like the stacked sensor and stuff, the 20 megapixels actually renders clearer than like a standard 20 megapixel sensor as well.
It does not have a stack sensor.
Or maybe it doesn't have
love
a
you.
stack sensor. There is something there. I can't
Yeah.
put out an article
Yeah,
that
yeah.
it does render clearer or something to that effect, but you can blow that up humongous. Because we have a billboard in the loop that is an iPhone photo.
Humongous. I had this fantasy of shooting raw 8K on the R5 and just pulling stills from the burst of 8K, see if it was a practical workflow, but it has yet to happen. So with 8K raw, you have chromatic noise in the shadows, and you'd have to denoise that. So that's one negative to pulling stills. But you're right, you can pull tons of stills. I have with the documentary, and they're literally like 8,000 pixels wide. It's ridiculous.
And a lot of those are in very clean light also, so you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about the
the noise.
shadow noise.
Yeah.
But they are absurd. They're so beautiful.
For real, with luxury market, all about maximizing time and getting what you're given. How do you price photo brand work? I've been working with some breweries creating content. Not sure if I should be charging by the hour or per gig. Great question.
battery's about to die.
It's totally up to you. And this goes back to what I recommended in the slide deck is what do you feel comfortable with? Like, are you happier with charging per hour? Or are you happier with charging per gig? What I would recommend is if this is a client that you want continual work with, what will they prefer? Will they prefer you being on retainer? Will they prefer you being hourly? Or will they prefer you charging a flat rate? If you're trying to get them over and over, I would try to figure out what their budget is and then try to meet them as close as you can to that so they keep hiring you over and over, whether that mean hourly or per gig. When you charge hourly, they might feel like psychologically a bad taste in their mouth because you then have to charge them more than they were expecting if the shoot goes long. So I would just try to go per gig and then have stipulations on deliverables. If you need to charge more because they asked for more afterwards, that's fine. But per gig is what I would recommend, like a day rate. That's what we usually do. Would I recommend my course to someone that is already experienced in the wedding photography and cinematography? I would, in the sense of like, if you can afford that right now as an investment for yourself in differentiating your creativity. So depending on how comfortable you feel with business, the business modules might be really helpful to you. But what would be really helpful to experienced photographers is just seeing my creativity and how I apply my creativity through editing, especially on the cinematography side. My creative storytelling and my creative portraiture is really helpful. My marketing without marketing module 10 is really helpful. How I market myself organically, how I've diversified my business. I have a whole investing module, how to save for retirement and thinking about that in early age in your 20s and 30s. And then my philosophy module, I think, can be really revolutionary to people if they haven't really thought deeply on that yet. So yes, there's still tons of valuable information. And if you're making a good bit of money now, like that might be a very reasonable investment for you if you see value in those things.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Joel Anderson, what websites would you recommend to build a photo film website?
Squarespace is amazing. There's a new place called Focal that does very, very simple websites. Trying to see if it's a good fit for me. It might be too simple for me design wise, but for some people it makes so much sense because they have integration with a CRM built into the website and they're kind of taking over in that realm. It's much more, if there's a pendulum of business to creativity in the wedding photographer world, they're much more on the business side of website building. Whereas I feel like Squarespace is right in the middle.
Yes.
And then all of like the vibey, like flow themes like I have is much more on the artistic side and the functionality isn't as good.
Yes.
So I'm figuring out if I want to go over here all the way or if I want to like stick with a Squarespace right in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm still a big supporter of Pixieset.
Pixieset is a great option now
they
too.
can integrate. Now they have a CRM. They do gallery delivery, all that. You can now host video through your galleries as well. And they do their own hosting. There's no like embedding with Vimeo or anything like that. So, and they'll bundle all of that. And I actually contemplating on switching to.
Are you throwing shade at a sponsor on my YouTube channel?
Do I?
Braxton? I'm just kidding.
I thought about switching, but after research, in terms of like getting everything into one bundle, they were the cheapest as well.
Braxton just looked real scared for a
I was like,
second.
wait, did we infringe on
Oh god.
like, we love you, PicTime.
No, I used to use Pixieset and they're doing really cool things now. I've been trying to push PicTime to go for the video download. Like, you'll make a killing if you do it. They do host video now, but you have to embed Vimeo link and you still don't have an option for download straight through the PicTime gallery yet. I don't think.
Correct.
So
if Pixieset changed their name, I'd be more interested in them.
I know.
Yeah, the name is pretty bad.
Love y'all as a company. I don't like your name.
Yeah. Okay.
No
Next.
affiliations.
Is Instagram still relevant in 2022? What do you think of the next photography centered app? I don't know what the next photography centered app is.
We're bringing Tumblr back.
It's not Clubhouse.
Okay. Steven has had a lot of success with still photography on Instagram recently.
I have. That is true. I've a lot of mixed feelings about what like as far as the next photo app is concerned. I do think that Instagram is still absolutely relevant.
Yes.
It's just a matter of how you use it.
Do you want to play the game
now? Yeah, but it's absolutely still a huge, like one of the biggest contenders in social media.
It's just a marketing tool at this point.
It is, yeah.
It's
So
not a portfolio place.
we all share a lot of images to Twitter as well, because Twitter
Agreed.
supports 4K uploads, which is really cool. But I honestly do not think the next big photo sharing app has emerged quite yet. I think we will see that. I think there is maybe a little bit, and I mean a very little bit of time that Instagram has to potentially rescind some of the more video TikTok forward things that they have pushed out to maybe try to get some of their audience back, because a lot of photographers specifically are really upset with Instagram right now.
What's so funny is it's such a small sect of users of Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that photographers feel so entitled to the platform because it started as a photo sharing app.
Yeah.
When in reality, we have always been a small percentage of people who use Instagram.
Not at the very beginning, though.
Okay. But it's all the hipster photographers that started at the beginning.
Don't talk about me like that. I'm right here. I'm looking at you right now.
But
Can you
things
get
evolve,
Elkins?
and like you can choose to be salty about how things change.
Yeah.
This is where I go Gary V on everyone. Like you could choose to be salty about how things change, or you can just come to grips with reality. You can lower your expectations on what you think because at the end of the day, people are getting mad because they're not getting the kind of engagement they want. And you're like,
yeah.
And they're the same people that are just like, I only care about my art. I don't need engagement. And you're like,
Yeah.
then stop complaining about the
Yeah.
engagement and just post what you want to post.
It is weird that the year that everyone has turned on Instagram is the year that I have, at this point, almost tripled my audience since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So in the last 7 months.
And a lot of it is film photography, almost exclusive.
99% of it has been
Yeah.
film photography. So
which does really well on Instagram right now.
it's quite popular right now. There's no getting around that.
I
Also,
didn't-
Yeah.
I didn't like Instagram Reels. I've been making them through this course launch, and I've actually really enjoyed it.
It can be fun.
Well, I'm like, I love making YouTube videos. What if I applied that same kind of philosophy and artistic approach to Instagram Reels and really flipped it on its head?
Yeah. And that's why I'm like, it's not an irrelevant tool. It's still a huge player. It's just like, do you want to play to what they are favoring right now?
Yeah.
And in that case, if you can take the skills that you have on YouTube and kind of apply them to the same way that you treat Instagram, then that's a really good way to use Instagram in the state that it's at currently.
What if you just make movies, like 3-minute movies?
Ooh.
That's what my friend Elliot Walker's doing right
Yeah.
now on
That's
TikTok
true.
and
But
Instagram.
I mean
Yeah.
it in a different way of like actually like cinematic
Oh, like Quibi.
movies.
yeah, Quibi. Rip.
Okay, but that was them trying to build an entirely new platform, not just put that stuff on an existing successul platform.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep
hang
going
on.
to
No.
questions.
You said Gary V. You can't get you. Give me 3 seconds of your Gary V impression. Go.
Oh, you have to post 14 TikToks a day. I'm just, seriously?
D-Rock.
D-Rock? Hand it the ball.
Okay.
I'm going to go flip this Elmo that I just got. I'm going to put it on eBay, sell it for $75, $72 profit. You could go on the weekends and make it happen. Okay.
Jackson Newen, whoa, that was beautifully said. I believe that is about the Bridezilla question that you fielded.
Yep.
Michael, would you ever go to photo conferences like WPPI in Las Vegas?
Yes, I would. I haven't yet, but I'm considering going to those in the coming years.
Great. Aliana Persky, when you raise prices, how much do you raise it by and how do you calculate that increase? When do you increase prices? Yeah.
So if you go back, once this live is posted, I went through about 30 minutes of a presentation at the beginning where I explain all of that in a slide deck. And ultimately what the SparkNotes version of that is, in the wedding world, once I got to 12 to 15 weddings booked for the next season, I would up my prices anywhere from $250 to $750 and then make sure that I was booking the rest of the season at those prices and I wasn't getting turned away at those new prices. And if I was, then I was lowering them back down and making sure I could fill out the rest of my season.
Awesome. Okay. Ricky, Recommendation for first lens for hybrid shooters for both photo and video, maybe a 35 RF 1.8, a Sigma 35 1.4, or a 24 to 72.8 from Canon, I believe it sounds like.
Oh, that's hard. I wouldn't put all your eggs in a Sigma basket.
Agreed.
Yeah, that can be really messy with autofocus. I wouldn't invest in a 35 mil yet until the RF 1.2 comes out.
Depending on where you're at in your career.
Because the 35 right now, yeah.
The 35 1.2 is going to be
at the beginning,
north of $2,000.
Right. So if you're at the beginning, like that might be a
yeah.
really good investment, the 35 prime. When you're in the beginning, I would actually recommend a prime for the reason that Gene just talked about in his recent video. He's moving to zooms now, but he doesn't regret starting with primes because it forced him to move his body, which is what I always talk about with using prime lenses. But more than that, it helps you figure out composition. And move your body to get composition. And once you learn a multitude of different compositions and different scenes, that's when it's safe to go to a zoom lens. So it's not, you know what the different options for compositions are. You're not just standing in the same place, zooming in and out, getting crappy compositions over and over.
Gene and I both dropped videos about zoom lenses and prime lenses, so go check those out.
Plugging your quick
Braxton?
No, that's not allowed. You can't
I'm
plug
turn
your
mic off if
you can't plug your own YouTube
stuff.
channels on my YouTube channel.
Braxton, what's your YouTube channel?
Oh, I haven't posted a video.
Wait, plug yourself, Josh. Schwa Films.
Shua Films.
Dang it, I said it wrong. I keep saying Schwa. Shua Films, because Joshua, I guess.
Let's be honest. If you do buy a 24 to 70, you have all of your bases covered for photo and video.
that's my recommendation. If you're doing both, I would say get the prime and the zoom if you can. I mean, if you're going to do both, then you have the ability to make twice as much income or 1.5 times as much income. So it might be better to invest in more lenses.
But I know where you're coming from. I would start with the 24 to 70 just so you have all of your bases covered.
Agreed. If it's just one lens.
Definitely
if it's just one lens and you have very strict budget, get the 24 to 70 and then you can build out your kit from there.
C-Log or C-Log 3 for Canon R5, C-Log 3, it's a better log curve, more robust. How did I get the R5 instead of the R5C to pair with the C70? I don't need the R5C. Like, there's nothing in the R5C as far as how much better it is than the R5 for me, because I have a C200 and a C70. C200 can be my B cam, or R5 can be my B cam with 8K RAW or 4K HQ. I'm not super concerned about overheating because it's a B cam, so I'm not running it forever. And then on the photo side, it's like the same camera. So
plus, if you really do care about things like that, as far as the R5 being your lead photo camera, you do have advantages, like you actually have IBIS in it versus the R5C does not have IBIS in it. And I think there's I've heard some people talk about like the battery life compared to the R5 is a little worse.
Well, plus I've also been able to use the R5 all year so far. Right. No one even has the R5C yet.
Nope.
Yeah.
Trust me.
But when the R5C officially released in April of 2022, I believe, and it's July now, I think still very, very few people actually have it.
Yes. I pre-ordered one in April. Didn't hear anything back until late May. And they told me that I wasn't getting mine until mid to late July. Got another email. I canceled that pre-ordered it again in June to see if I could get a faster ship date. I got an email in early July saying that they had actually no timetable on when I could get my copy.
Yikes.
So I canceled that pre-order as well. And I'm just going to wait until someone actually has it in stock.
Ryan Clement said, how do you go about getting clients to purchase photos through PicTime? I guess really just pushing that aspect to drive up print sales and them seeing the value there rather than somewhere else. Yes, I would talk about it first, like have conversations about the options that they have, and then it's all about discount codes. So then figuring out what the automations that work for you well are. I can do a deep dive on this on module 5 in the classroom with print sales of all the different automations that are available in PicTime and which ones I use and which ones are most successful. Some of those successful ones are abandoned cart. Abandoned cart's really successful. But prepping them with like, you only have 3 days, you only have 7 days, like those automations, and then hitting them with emails before the expiration's over is really helpful in driving those print sales, and then running holiday sales as well. But talk about it. Let them know their options. Let them see what's available. Create a slideshow, do a slow release of the gallery so that keeps them coming back. Give them reasons to share the gallery with family members. Just again, intentionality, think creatively.
Love it. Okay. Marcel Turner, waiting for a client to finally pay me. Arg. I want to get the classroom bundle, but also want to use my Patreon code. How long do I have to use the code for?
So the Patreon code is already over, I'm sorry to say, but to spread out payments of the classroom is 6 months. So if you want to do the solo, you can purchase a solo course and then upgrade to the bundle at any point if that's more helpful. So you could just get the photo one for $333 a month. And then if you want to upgrade to the bundle later, you can do that. You just have to message us and we can upgrade that for you, no problem.
Yeah.
Did I answer all that question?
You did.
Okay.
Isaac, thanks for the response. We appreciate you, Isaac. PJ, I left the stream, came back. Is Eric still on the second question? No.
No, we're back now.
We're
Gary
back on
impression.
track.
Let's go.
Jennifer Breton.
I swear, if you can't make 6 figures,
If you're only on the second question. Jennifer Breton, 3-minute engaging films would be so difficult. Agreed.
yeah, it is really hard.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Tommy Sir, what do you think about using Wedding Wire and the Knot combo for marketing? Have you ever used it? Was it worth it for you?
I've never used it. I've seen people have some success with it. I've also seen a comment today roll in, heard this from a lot of other people, that there's like 75% fake scam leads. But it can be beneficial if I said it in my YouTube video today. It could be beneficial if you book one wedding through that. It'll pay for your subscription. And I know that Mike and Kristen, who built their wedding business in Chicago, had tons of success on the Knot. So do your research and see if it's possible. Other people have had bad experiences, but you really have to do your research on what's the best profile. Like Kristen is a whiz at figuring out SEO and how to market yourself on platforms like that.
Yep.
And they found success. So in the same way, they found a lot of success in running Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Like you just need to know how to play the game. It can work. You just need to be positioned well, get good ranking, be at the right price point, and then it might be able to work.
And
I don't recommend it.
Cool.
In my experience, the Wedding Wire and the Knot makes my blood boil because I had such an awful experience with them. But I think a lot of it has to do with the area you're in.
Yep.
I was at the time that I used the Wedding Wire plus the Knot. I was back home in Mississippi in a very, very, very small market, in a very non-lucrative market. And I kind of fell for their marketing trap. It was during COVID. It was during that 2020 year when we weren't booking any weddings for the next year. And I had a very bad experience with them. But like you say, Mike and Kristen had a phenomenal experience with them. But I think a lot of that has to do with being in Chicago, where people are actually using their site.
Yeah, for sure. Being in a bigger market, moving to a bigger market.
Yeah.
Okay, this one, do you offer different packages for weddings, like $1,000 for a 15-minute highlight, $2,000 for a highlight and ceremony, so on? Can you switch to my screen?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, I'm going to go to the slide
from the picture real quick.
I'm going to go to the slide from the presentation with my pricing. This is an old pricing PDF, but my new one's pretty much modeled after it. Hopefully you guys can see this. It's pretty small print, but I can. So if you see under the film investments, all I have is a 3 to 5. Well, now it's 4 to 6 minute montage edit for both options 1 and 2. And the top one just includes raw footage and it's $500 more. So back in 2017, I was charging $4,000 for a 3 to 5 minute montage edit and raw footage. And then they have to pick either one of those investments. So you get the 3 to 5 minute montage no matter what. Now it's 4 to 6 minute whenever I deliver. Most people chose the montage and raw footage, and then 1 or 2 weddings a year would include a full ceremony edit for $1,000 and or speeches edit for $500. And that's how I've always modeled it. Well, I did full documentary edits at first. And then when I moved to Chicago and found out you could do montage edits like that, I changed it, and then everything started taking off from that point, and realized that most people just want a montage edit like that and raw footage.
For sure. Ryan Clemens had a second question. Are you allowing them to download the finished photos free or paying for the shoot and access to finished photos?
I let them download for free and include that in my pricing, but there is no shame in doing it the other way. Tons of people have tons of success with maybe only letting them download 10 images, and then they can upgrade to download all images for an extra $500, or they can upgrade to download images and get X amount of prints for $1,000. It's how a lot of family photographers make money. If people are doing full-time family photography or full-time portrait photography, that to me is the only model that can make it full-time. I don't think you could, it's just not realistic to charge $400 or $500 per session and that be the exclusive, just the only thing you do. You'd have to be booking 15 sessions a month. And that's literally half the days of the month. And then you're editing all that other time. And it's
it's unsustainable.
It's not sustainable. So you have to figure out a way to be able to make that money in the back end.
I imagine that's how a lot of mini sessions will
Yes.
play out as well, where you guarantee, you get 10 photos from this 15-minute session.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure in the back end also is like, hey, actually, there's these other
There's
50
40.
photos that you'd
Yeah.
love.
Yep.
Do you want to pay
You
extra
can
for
view
those?
all of them.
Yeah. Yep.
It's an extra $300.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to get print credit, that's an extra, and there's all sorts of systems like that built in pick time
Yep.
that people utilize and make tons of money on. So kudos to you if you can have that model.
Yep.
Zach said, how do you send finished videos to clients? I deliver through Vimeo. Lots of people will roast me for that. I don't feel like out of the other options I've seen, I haven't really seen anything that's just like so much better than Vimeo.
I mean, carrier pigeon's pretty effective.
Carrier pigeon, USB in the mail. You
Big
could do
Ian.
like a wood box with a USB in the mail. That feels like it's already getting so far outdated. It's
Yeah.
just like people have USB-C ports now. It's like, so yeah, I try to let the work speak for itself. And if you do want to wrap it up in a prettier bow, that's totally cool. I know VidFlow, Wedflow, I forget which.
I think it's Webflow.
Wedflow. Yep.
is a good option. That's like one of the only good options I've heard. But now PixieSet's rolling it out. I'm sure PickTime will follow suit
They'll be
pretty soon.
close. Let's see. Michael Bornman, second shooting a wedding video for the first time next month. Any tips / what do you look for in a second shooter?
Bring water, extra water. Bring snacks. Bring ibuprofen and maybe a first aid kit or a sewing kit. Like, put all that stuff in your bag, and then when that time comes, you will be the hero of the day.
Tide pen.
Tide pen, to go pen.
Okay.
Anything like that, like think of that kind of stuff and then be the hero for the day and show up and serve. And don't even just show up and serve the client, like absolutely do that. Get to know them, be their pals, pull a Braxton, like have the groomsmen licking your forehead by the reception.
That
literally happened.
Actually happened last month.
Literally happened.
I'll show you the photos.
They were obsessed with Braxton.
Yes.
He was my second shooter that day.
Yes, go Braxton.
The trick, at least my goal as a second shooter, besides like serving the lead, of course, is that I always find one person that's close to the couple and I become best friends with them as soon and as fast as possible. Because when you can make their friends go up to the couple and be like, holy crap, they were amazing. That's when you've
It
made
was
it.
really huge.
That's when it's really huge. Because like it's one thing to make the couple love you, but it's another to make the people surrounding that couple love you
That's
as well.
true.
Yes. And I actually want to reference a wedding that you and I shot together last May. Pay attention to your lead shooter, whoever you are seconding for, and listen to them and all the things that they are debriefing you on before the wedding. Because the wedding that you and I shot with Mark, you were lead video, Mark was lead photo, I was seconding video with you. We were shooting at Stoneover in Massachusetts. And you mentioned ahead of time that there was a very important slideshow that was going to be projected during the reception.
Yeah.
And obviously that includes a lot of cables and other things that you need to hook up a laptop to a TV to play that slideshow.
And such an important moment. Her late father in a slideshow.
Like not just a slideshow for kicks and gigs. It was like a critical moment that was extremely important to the bride's
Like
family.
climactic moment of the wedding day.
Hugely important thing.
That I made the slideshow.
You made she sent you all of the film photos
that I scanned
You
and
scanned
turned
yourself.
into a slideshow for them.
Yes. And in order to make that slideshow happen, you need an HDMI cable to plug that computer into the TV. Well, the DJ was responsible for that. And this is not a joke. I as Eric and I debriefed that going into that wedding day, I packed an extra HDMI cable because I'm like, you know what? Just in case, let's just make sure that our bases are covered. Not even our responsibility. We're going to make sure our bases are covered. This is no joke. 30 seconds before the slideshow is supposed to start playing, and the mother of the bride is going to give a speech about the bride's late father, the DJ rotates the TV that it was going to be projected on and snaps the HDMI cable clean off, and the brick of it is stuck inside the TV, and he just starts losing his mind, swearing under his breath, like freaking out. And I'm standing next to him like, oh, no. Oh, no. Eric is shooting because that's his job. And I'm like,
Because she starts the speech.
I'm like, no worries at all. I brought an extra HDMI cable. He looks at me. He's like, thank you. And so I grabbed that from my bag. We like very quickly plugged that in, like plug it into my laptop or whatever it was, wheel the TV out just in time for it to still like matter.
Yeah, she like literally referenced the TV and like it just got
like,
rolled in.
And here it is. And I'm like, if I had not brought that wouldn't have happened.
Yep.
Just straight up. And that would have been a huge loss for them.
Just think above and beyond on small things.
Just
like
like,
it could,
listen,
can
look
be the
for those
hero
things,
moment.
pay attention to those moments because it can make a huge difference.
And like the client might not ever know about that, but if you were a second shooter that just shot for them for the first time, you were getting hired again, you were getting referred from that point on.
That's what I was about to say is like, as soon as you do that for your lead as well, you have work for life.
Yep.
Like I personally, I tried to work with the same 2 to 3 second shooters all year round because like I know they're consistent and I know what to expect. And when you can be that for other people, you always have a job.
Yep.
Always.
Like guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is the best thing ever. Get back to your seat, young man. Hit that button.
Young. Let's go.
Let's go.
So that button is always hit in the studio when someone purchases the classroom to celebrate. Marcel Turner, thank you for purchasing the bundle and being a part of the classroom.
Wait, it was Marcel?
Yeah,
Let's go. Marcel.
Marcel's in here, right?
Yes, he is.
There
My
you go.
man.
Thank you for being a part of the classroom. Sincerely appreciate that. We will always shout you out if you're going to make that investment and invest in yourself that way on these live streams. And yeah, welcome to the community. Make sure you jump on the Facebook page right away. That's right in the first opening module. So you go to that, go straight to the Facebook page. I just posted a referral in there today. I sent 6 names to a potential bride in Chicago with a $4K budget. People are always asking for second shooting jobs in there.
Mm-hmm.
We are critiquing each other's work in there all the time. It's an incredible community. Just want everyone to know that about the
Facebook
classroom
group
as well.
is amazing.
Yeah.
The Facebook group is bomb.
It's-
I have
yes.
some people I need to approve to let into the
Yes.
group now
Yes.
that I think of it.
Yes.
Yes. Speaking of second shooting, Zach asks, when you have a second shooter,
Mhm.
how much do you pay them?
Pretty standard rate in Chicago is about $50 an hour, but someone like Mike in our studio who goes way above and beyond with second shooting, he always brings like a cooler of snacks and drinks and coffee and stuff. And he comes like fully dressed to the nines and is just like an unbelievable help on a wedding day. He knows he's worth more than $50 an hour, so he charges $75 an hour.
Mhm.
But that's not very typical for people to be like, if you have me as a second shooter, I cost $75.
Yeah.
They usually let the lead photographer dictate what that is. Mike can set his price because he has so many people who know that he's such a good second shooter. So if you're that well connected, you could charge more as a second shooter.
Yeah.
I will happily pay Mike $75 an hour because I know it's going to help me that much more on a wedding day.
He's so worth it.
Yes.
No one comes prepared like he does.
Like-
he's unbelievable.
To pay an extra $150 to $250 for the day to have that much more help to me is pretty invaluable.
Unbelievable.
And because if you invest in something like that, that literally could be you landing 2 more weddings in the future that you wouldn't have because you're less stressed and more present with all the people there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let's see. When you send raw footage to clients, what does that mean? Like straight off the camera, raw, or what's raw?
No, so this is in the editing module of the classroom as well, and I put it on my Patreon a long time ago. I don't know if it's on Patreon, but I put everything in a timeline, and I put an adjustment layer with Rec 709 to get it looking normal, but I don't put a look on it, and I export the entire thing like 3 hours at a lower bit rate. I upload that whole thing to Vimeo because I have a premium account now or whatever business account now with them. And then I send it through Vimeo. So it's like a whole 3 hour link. That's about 25 gigs, 20 gigs. Yeah.
Yeah. PJ asks, what is your favorite secret weapon on a wedding day? Like an extra shirt on sweaty days, food, etc.
I'm really bad at that kind of stuff. I need to get better at thinking ahead of time with those types of things. But I do almost always remember to bring my Fuji Instax wide camera, and we take instant photos throughout the day. Usually I have my second shooter handle that most of the time. Whenever Braxton's second shooting with me, he always crushes this. And then we collect all of them in my own side bag throughout the day. And then we go over at the dinner table and drop them on the table, and they just lose their mind. It's like my favorite part of every wedding, every time. It's so much fun.
Yep.
because they're like so not expecting it. They had no idea you were doing it all day. And I have so many photos of couples just holding them and looking up at me and just being like,
I was gonna say the reaction photos you get are
they're so fun.
just
Yes.
as important as the actual Instax photos that you give them.
Yes.
sometimes they'll like cry or put their hand to their mouth, or they'll look at you and wink, or just like
I did that.
give you a shocked face. Yeah.
Not the wink, the
Yeah.
almost cry.
And you were like, you knew that I did that.
Yeah.
Did you think at any point that I would do it?
I mean,
You were like,
it was
He
my
probably
wedding day.
will.
But also it's like so in the back of my mind. I
Exactly.
wasn't thinking about what you were doing. I was
Yeah,
just
when
like,
you're wedding,
you were
day,
just
you're
enjoying
thinking of
yourself.
5,000 different
yeah.
things.
And so you sat down and I put it on the table and you
I
were
was
like,
like,
oh,
this is what it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Which
really
is a
sweet.
very cool moment.
That's fun.
My secret weapon is Lululemon dress pants.
Yes.
Wear them. Buy them first and then wear them. Try them on first, buy them. Wear
Don't
them to
steal
the
them
wedding.
and wear
Don't
them.
steal them. I'm not advocating for stealing. Wear the pants after you buy them and then get black Hoka running shoes as you
Oh,
were.
you gave me that SD
Wedding
card.
shoe.
I didn't realize this was the SD card.
Oh yeah,
for...
don't worry about that. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Mine
Yeah.
is, as silly as it sounds, becoming best friends with the bride's dad.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
wedding, I become best friends with the bride's dad.
Very good.
Because more than likely, he's the one who paid for everything. And if you can, at minimum, let him sleep better that night, knowing that he paid for someone that like he,
It's a
I
good
don't want to say
angle.
approves of, but like likes.
Like you're asking for his daughter's hand and being the photographer.
Okay, we're going to quickly pause on the questions. We're going to turn it over to Eric's computer and switch
Wait,
it over
are
to
we?
him.
No, not yet. I'm not ready.
You're not ready?
Not yet.
Oh, you don't want to show the import process? It's beautiful.
Yes.
Sorry, it's beautiful.
We've been removing B out of all words, and we changed the G sound to G, J to G, and
Yeah.
G to J.
Yeah.
So now I'm just Raxton.
Sorry about that.
Rax.
I brought the B out of
We are funny to ourselves and very few others.
Lots of people don't think that's funny.
No,
But we do.
we love it.
We're dorks.
Okay, where are all these scans?
My wife doesn't
It's going to
approve
be like
of
the
the
last
Kinge's
photos
English.
on that card. So just to catch everybody up on what we're about to head into, we're going to
14.
start editing some film scans live that we took last night of Josh and his wonderful wife, Tina. And we actually just dropped them off at our film lab this morning, picked them up this afternoon because it's awesome to have a film lab that is able to turn around things the same day.
Shout out
And-
Hosan.
Shout out, oh, the best. And we're actually going to turn it over to Eric's computer in just a sec. We're going to kind of walk through the process of what it's like to look at the negatives in Lightroom, how we convert our negatives to positive, and get some live reactions to the photos that we took last night.
Okay, it's transferring over right now. It's going to take a hot second. Now we're
Steven,
gonna
do you know what you
import.
sound like? You sound like a late night radio host.
Yeah.
You're like, welcome to 105.3 as we are cruising the boulevard all night long.
Braxton, I really feel like my life's calling is to be
A radio
a
host.
radio
I mean, you
DJ
got the
host.
face for radio, so.
Thank you. My mom told me that as a kid.
Our mom.
Oh, yeah, our mom. Sorry. So rude of me. Our mom. That also reminds me of Psych, actually, now that I think about it.
Oh
Gus,
yeah.
Late night
I'm
Gus.
scanning. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
You ready? Oh,
Yeah.
hey, we were having a Psych moment. Okay, hang on one sec. Camera one and action.
Okay, so I have all the scans here. You will see on the video that's released tomorrow on YouTube, we are doing a full studio tour of Creative Club as it is right now. And to my left over here is a scanning station for our film, where we have a copy stand from Negative Supply and a light bed and a carrier from them. We run film through it and we photograph it. I don't know if I was doing all this. I don't know if Steven explained any of this yet. Anyway, so we scan it in studio, and I'm just importing all of these scans so you can see the individual frames from the roll here. I'm going to import all these into Lightroom. And then what we do here is, so this is a portrait I took of Josh. This is going to be fun to see. It me. What we do first is over on the black bars on each side, they're like orange right now. That's where you use your white balance dripper to get white balance. And then I pull the crop tool over the entire scan. So now I have just the scan here. And I will open up a plugin that you buy that we all have called Negative Lab Pro, Control N. That pops up Negative Lab Pro, and then we're just going to convert that negative into a positive, and you will see it come to life. Oh, that's a mood. Okay, so this is where then you can start editing your scan. So I actually want it to be even more moody, and it doesn't really feel like Blue Hour to me, so I want it to be much cooler. Dang, Josh, looking fire.
Dang gosh.
Dang gosh.
Damn, Josh.
Yeah, there we go. I want, yeah. Very sick. So a lot of people don't realize that you can actually like manipulate your film this much. I think a lot of people just go like, oh yeah, you send it off to the lab and then you get what you get. I think a lot of people get scans that look like this, where the darks are super faded. And yeah, it's just really nice to be able to dial in everything you want in your own film and not have to be reliant on a film lab to do it for you. That's ultimately why we got this scanning set up in the studio in the first place. So there are techniques to batch this. So you could copy white balance throughout the whole thing, but I just kind of like going through frame by frame because it feels like Christmas. I know Steven likes doing that too.
I do that as well.
That is the only way that I do
Because
it.
it does slow down the process, and it just makes you be more cognizant of slowing down and not treating it like client work. Oh, that turned out real nice.
I think that's kind of the point of it.
Exactly.
It's like the whole point of doing film in the first place is the experience.
Right. And I don't want that magic to be lost on me because that's why I got into it in the first place. I never want it to feel like I'm editing client work when I'm shooting my own personal stuff. Now, technically this is kind of client work, but what's cool is like after you've done your edits and stuff, you can zoom back out and then you can get your borders and vibes back in the photo.
Gotta have the borders.
The only way you can get Twitter clout these days is if you
Is
include
to
the vibes.
It's via
the vibes
Give me
and
the
the borders.
baby.
It's so weird that the film is upside down. It's because I think it's because I
It's
shot
the
it
way-
this way
yeah.
instead of this way.
Yep.
I'm still learning this. So go back to my A cam.
Yes, sir.
This is shot on my new film camera. This is my new 645 camera, the Mamiya 645 AF. Huge reason I got this because I was super inspired by Steven using the Mamiya 645 AFD. I love the idea of having autofocus in a medium format camera, and I love the 645 aspect ratio instead of a 6x7.
You almost got a 6.7.
I almost did. I almost got the Pentax 6.7. I
You
ended
said
up
it was too heavy.
Yeah, it's super enormous, and you do only get 10 shots per roll instead of 16. So the 6x7 format only gives you 10 per roll on 120 film. 645 gives you 16. I don't feel like the little bit more resolution you get in the 6x7 versus the 645 is that much more worth it for me, because it's really only making a difference when you're like printing large. And most of the time, a lot of my work lives online. And I mean, maybe that'll change once I start printing my work more. I might just want a 6.7 to print the really important stuff, or maybe I'll just get a large format like Braxton.
As you should.
Okay, I'm gonna scan a few more. This is all the really late stuff. I was just kind of burning through the roll at this point. So I kind of want to skip ahead to see some of the earlier stuff I shot of them. I'm not seeing any light leaks this time. That's nice.
That's very good.
I got some light leaks on some of the first 8 rolls I shot with this camera. Ooh, that's really nice. I think what was the shot at? I know.
You can
I
look
can
at
know.
data.
I can know.
I can know.
I can know. I can actually know. Okay, that's a vibe. Wow. What was it? 2.8 at 1/20th of a second.
Zoom in.
Not bad.
Not bad.
A little bit of motion blur. But that's like really far in. That's 200% zoom.
It's a pretty big mirror that slaps up inside of the camera.
Ka-kunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want any
Zoom in a
of these.
little bit.
Ooh, I want to do Blurry City. So I used the motion blur on this on purpose to get this super vibe shot. What do you think it's going to turn out like? You think it's going to be garbage?
It's gonna be supervised.
It's going to be like that.
Ooh.
Put green in the mids.
Put green in the mids.
Uh-huh. So magenta.
Like that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
You know what we need to do is start messing with the double exposure program.
Double with that would be insane.
Yeah.
Because that would be like an Austin Jenna double that I did. That's like
Yeah.
the land.
Yes.
The landing page. The landing page of the classroom's website
Yep.
is like this with a double exposure of the couple, and it was literally at North Ave Beach.
Yeah,
This
my,
is me.
my little gym,
What'd you say?
my little hidden gym.
Your little hidden gem.
Don't tell people about it.
Don't tell anyone
No one
about
ever
it.
goes.
We are
there.
gatekeeping North Ave.
There were 10 photographers there last
There
night.
were
with
so
covers.
many photographers there last night.
I counted 6 or 7 tonight alone, just on that one strip of sidewalk,
Yeah.
Yeah.
including Carrie.
You saw Carrie again?
Again?
Of course.
She's there every night of the week.
She lives there.
That's crazy.
Okay, here we go. You ready, Shua?
I'm ready.
Call him Sheila?
Shua.
Sheila?
Sheila.
Sheila?
Sure.
Shua.
I
Shoe?
heard Sheila for sure.
Shua. Shua.
Oh.
Wow.
I have a delay on my end, so I'm still waiting.
Yeah, we're hella delayed over here.
That looks very nice.
Yes.
By the way, it was very windy yesterday.
It was.
Bro, Tina's hair was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Seriously.
Tina was awesome.
Tina was awesome.
she is awesome.
She is. Present day.
Okay, I want to do this one. Is that a light leak?
I just won heck of brownie points.
Good stuff. Do you think is she watching right now?
I think so.
Hi, Tina.
She was at the beginning. I think she left a comment way back at the beginning of this.
Ooh.
Well, I'll find it in the live stream later.
Is her?
Mine's probably asleep.
Okay.
Literally
My
right
horizons
there.
are a bit crooked there. I can't do borders on this one or I will be exposed.
Oh, that's
Evenly exposed.
So nice.
Noise.
Yeah, that's a very nice frame.
Beautiful. Yeesh.
Got focused that time. Okay. Ooh, this one's gonna be real nice.
Show me golden hour.
Show me a Jolden hour. Oh, this is a smiley one. Negatives look so creepy when they're not converted to positives.
Teeth are the most horrifying.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
That
so
is
creepy.
so sweet.
That's awesome.
Oh, come on.
We're still delayed over here.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Oh, cool.
Ooh,
Isn't that nice?
yeah.
You guys gotta frame that one, please.
Heck yes. Can I get it signed by you then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got a deal.
Make
It's on live.
Make him pay for it too.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Okay, I think these were golden hour. We barely had any time with the sun.
We got there just in time.
What about the one at the boathouse?
The first location.
That was
we went
that was
to-
digital.
Oh, that was digital?
Yeah.
That first spot we went to that you shot it digitally, you were like, okay, the sun's gonna be here for like 3 more minutes. You took 3 photos. You're like, okay, it's gone.
It's gone. It was literally like 45 seconds.
It was so.
I
fast.
knew it was faster than 3 minutes. I was trying to be like really forceful, like drop the bags, get over here as fast as you can because it's going to be gone.
Drop the bags. Let Steven wear your Kate Spade back all
They-
night long.
Y'all handed Emma like Shua's camera and everything, and she goes, "What do I do?"
The entire night, people would like look at the group and be like, "What's going on here?" And Emma would like show them her camera. She's like, "What do you think?" Like, get out of the way.
We were standing on the pier end, and we saw this old couple like walk past us, and the wife was like, "Why are they just standing there? Where are the photographers?" And the husband's like, "They're over there." And she's like, "Oh."
Oh. Okay, Steven took this portrait of me.
Oh yeah.
So if you watched the YouTube video today that I dropped, this was that scene where I'm in front of the paper, which we put negative fill on the right side. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Tell me what to do. What do you want done?
Oh,
That's
wow.
bright.
It's so bright.
Exposure down.
Yeah.
Do you want standard highlight soft?
Yeah.
Highlight soft.
Why is it so bright? Yeah, bring the exposure down for sure.
Bring the lights down. Lights and brightness helps a lot more than exposure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Great. Jorgus.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
way better.
Yeah, there we go.
There's the flexibility of film right there.
Yeah, and then yeah.
More magenta. Well, your screen isn't calibrated. It's pretty green.
This looks really good over here.
You want more contrast in that?
Yeah. Smudged up a little.
Yeah, like that.
This is going to be a really great thumbnail or profile picture.
I know. I feel like that's sick.
That's dope.
Gosh, that's insane.
Thanks, Steven.
Yeah. Wow.
That's so cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, that turned out so good. Wow. The microphone.
I love it.
Oh, wow. Oh,
How's that?
oh, April Fools.
Oh, wait. There we go.
Oh, yeah. That is the artist's eye right there. Jorgus. Wait, wow. Dude, your eyes are so blue.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Deep fried.
Yeah, I have a freckle in that one eye.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah. Do you call it a freckle?
Yeah, it's a freckle.
It's
A freckle?
It's called freckle?
I don't know.
Okay. Damn, that's so cool.
I love when Steven disagrees with something. He just goes, "It's what?" And you repeat it. He's like, "Okay." Do you want anything else converted to see? What you
wait. I think the one right next to it was the one you looking down.
No. There's
No?
just me looking. Oh, I'm
That
looking.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the one that you were like, this one encapsulates all the feelings I'm feeling
Yep.
this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes just doubting myself a lot. Well, what's great is I could sync scene here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll probably need the same adjustments. That's weird that it turned out so bright. And then that's perfect. Yeah.
So sync, boom. Yeah, wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. That says a lot.
Yeah.
That's how I feel sometimes.
Yeah.
Sad Eric.
Cue the Paramore.
Do you want any of these? You want to see?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Like which ones?
I want to see if that shoe shot came out.
Shoe shot.
Shoe shot over the water.
Is anyone here still? I'm not even looking.
There's still 67 human beings hanging out with
Hey,
us right
thanks
now.
for hanging with us, guys.
Oh, I'm seeing 80.
Oh.
Nice.
Do you want to do live music?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Whoa. Oh, it's the opposite way.
Oh.
Like this.
Opposite.
Oh. Okay. Wee. Wee.
Wait, the water turned out so green.
Ooh.
So go to mids and then
Yeah.
blue.
Give me blue.
Is blue.
Or give me the.
Is blue. You want more blue?
Man, what cool wedding shoes though.
Were those the shoes I wore on y'all's wedding day?
We married them last night.
Not me. She did have
I'm
a
just
pair of Adidas.
Wow.
I really wanted to
doing
work
right
on
now.
I just remembered we're doing live stream.
Remembered we're live.
Yep. And burp, you did.
Erpy did.
Actually, I do want to see one.
Firework?
Oh yeah, we should see if this actually turned out.
Which one? This one?
What's the slowest shutter speed one? That's 1/4.
1/4 of a second? They're all 1/4.
I want to see if this turned out for sure. That's hilarious.
I can't get Paramore out of my head now.
I know. Shh, you gotta get copyright claimed.
I don't think we even monetized this live stream, so
really?
I think we could play Paramore. It doesn't matter.
We can
Oh,
do
yeah,
whatever we
well.
want. Michael, for the record, the beer is excellent.
Yes, it was.
Genius.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. There we go.
I mean,
Well, I mean, like the AFD has IBIS, so
it stabilizes the film for
that's surprisingly stable.
That's
1/4 of a second.
My
Come
God.
on.
you. Thank you very much.
That's ridiculous.
A Jolden would be nice.
This one's gonna look cool. I bet it's gonna turn out really bright and green first.
Yeah. Yay.
Negative Lab Pro has a hard time with monochromatic
Yeah.
scenes. Like if you photograph the clouds in a blue sky, it just has a very hard time converting it. Yeah, like your skin
Yes,
tone is
like
not
really
right.
orange. The highlights are super magenta.
Well, that's way better already.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is a Steven color palette, like right here.
Getting better for sure.
Lights down.
You guys are so cute.
Yeah, you are.
What was that? I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Mids, more magenta. Where?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
As a quick rough
It
edit.
should.
I'm curious to see one of the maybe
Group photo.
fun. Oh, actually, yeah, I'm curious to see how that turns out.
That's me and Mike, and then them. Some green in here.
Uh-huh.
Ooh,
Ooh, wow.
That's fancy.
Actually awesome. Wow.
making us look cool.
Yeah. Great.
Get some borders up in there.
Ooh, the one right above. Wow.
Oh wow. Oh, you got some sun in that other one.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I'm in a high stakes scenario, when there's sun and there's not much left, I always put it between the couple and I panic and just fire a lot. And I never think to put it behind one of their necks like you just did here. Doop. That makes way more sense because it always just flares on faces then, which I like in some sense, but then I wish it wouldn't ruin being able to see their faces.
Right. Yeah, I feel like adding some red in there at some point.
Like here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that.
It was so beautiful that I kept saying, okay, kiss. And then my camera wouldn't focus because it was super backlit. I was like, okay, keep kissing.
Kiss
Okay,
more.
just keep kissing longer. And they were just standing there for 30 seconds.
For a long time.
Okay, stop kissing and kiss again. Okay, it's still not focusing. Okay. But that's at least one was cute.
That's very cute.
There you go.
I'm enjoying my little ponytail sticking out back there.
Nice.
Nice.
This live stream is sponsored by Shua Tail.
Ponytail.
Oh my god.
Sweet.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Those portraits are pretty fun.
You go back to ACAM.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. We need a picture and a picture and a picture and a picture and a picture. Okay.
All
We
right.
back to ACAM?
Back to again.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that's about going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you
I'm
so
sad.
much. I know. The Monday one's going to go all the way to midnight.
Sick.
No problem.
Just what you think.
I could definitely go another hour and a half, but I don't want to because we have another full day tomorrow of editing, getting the post ready for Saturday. New video goes live in the morning for studio tour. And then all the photos you just saw there from that session we did last night, that video is going to go live on Saturday. We're going to edit all that tomorrow. It's going to be awesome.
Y'all.
Don't forget, Classroom is live all the way through Monday to the end of the day. It's a big reason why we're doing all this content this week. Obviously, want to provide value in all the ways we can. My DMs are open on Instagram. Shoot me DMs if you have any business questions. I'm answering any and all business questions to the best of my ability with the volume that I'm getting. Or text me at the number that you can find in my Instagram bio as well. I'm fielding questions there as well. Any way I can help you throughout this week. If you're interested in purchasing the Classroom, there are payment options. There are $333 a month for a solo or $499 a month for the bundle. And yeah, you can ask if any questions in the DMs or text if you feel like you're on the fence or you need me to clarify anything for you when it comes to the Classroom. We have the Facebook group that comes with the Classroom. When you join, there are already well over 100 people in there. I think we're up to about 130 people all over the country and worldwide at this point. We're giving referrals in there. We're doing portfolio critiques, all sorts of stuff, referrals that I give and other people give, second shooting opportunities. It's a very cool place to be. We are live streaming again on Monday.
Yes. Mark your calendars if you are here right now, if you want to do this exact thing with all of us. Again,
Yes.
7:30
Mike will be there
p.m.
this time.
Yes. 7:30 p.m. Central Time on Monday, the 25th.
All the way
July.
till midnight Central Time.
Yeah. That's
yes.
that's a 4.5 hour stream.
It's going to be,
Oh, yeah.
and as soon as we close the Classroom, it'll be year 31 for this old bloke.
Wow.
Yeah.
So join us for Eric's 31st year of life.
Yay.
And be more excited than him,
Yay!
I guess, also.
If you don't want to purchase the Classroom, you just want the free module, you could do that as well. It's module 7. full 2-hour module, tons of information in that. You can sign up for the free module at the link below as well, education.ericflover.com, and enjoy.
Just come hang with us on Monday.
Yeah, don't miss the stream.
Please.
And if you were in the stream last year, I'll be giving away the exact same thing that I gave away last year, even though it didn't get to work out. Very sad. But this year we're going to make it happen. So
What was it?
I'm giving away
leave it.
nothing.
No, don't tell them. Don't tell them.
I was about to say,
Braxton's
sorry.
giving away something on the next
Braxton,
stream.
and so am I.
Oh, you're giving something away too?
Yeah, even though I just said I was giving away nothing, I'm giving something away also.
Okay.
So,
Josh's going to give away something too?
I'm new here, so no. Maybe one day.
You're not going to want to miss the live stream.
don't
say that much.
Don't miss it.
Don't
We're
miss
all
it.
giving something away of some type of value.
Be here, be square.
We
I
love
like to
you.
think mine has decent value.
Yours does. I don't know what mine is, so we'll figure that out.
Okay. See you on Monday. See you on the internet over the weekend. I'll be available. Please shoot me a DM if you have any questions. If you want to chat about anything business related. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I hope it was helpful and entertaining, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Done.